Way! Hello, viewer. Today it is Sunday, May the 14th, 2023. Happy Mother's Day. I am, obviously, that's to our female viewers. I am Mr. Brown, and I trust you are all doing better than me today. I'm deaf in one ear. On this evening's stream / podcast, we are discussing the goings on this week in the pop culture and on the social media. But before we begin, you can find us here on the YouTube, or if you prefer your entertainment in the podcast form, we are also on Spotify. The links are in the description. So if you've not shut down for the evening, as I always say, lots to get through. Shall we get the guests out? You know it. Let's do it. Okay, so first up, a talented powerhouse of a man. He's the governor of Twitter. It is
Whoever
Bobby.
that is. Hello. Good
Hello.
evening. How are
Hi,
you?
Taki.
You're broken, I know. That's
I am
sad.
unbroken. I've got a. We'll get it out of the way. I'm deaf in one ear. I've got glue ear with wearing headphones 24/7 practically. And my back hurts a lot. But anyway, old man, moving on. Hello, Probby.
Hello. He's got the vegan AIDS.
No, that's next week.
Yeah, save some for later.
Listen,
yeah.
If it's any consolation, me being a dirty vegan, I had fish cakes today.
I had fish cakes today. How weird is that? Salmon ones.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's weird. Got some psychic synergy going on there.
Me you go. Look,
pescatarian, you.
Reniel, #vegan AIDS. You can
quote me on
fall
that.
out with people very, very quickly. Can you not?
No.
Probably.
Dark Side Bob says you got poo ear.
Chat moved up. Sorry. One of the chat moved up. Poo ear. It is deaf. I'm worried. But anyway.
Well, it's when you go mad and blind as well. That's when you need to really worry.
Yeah, my mother warned me about the going blind. So anyway. Oh yes. So everything good with Probby Man?
It is. Just about, yeah. Nothing half as ferocious as your back or your ear. So I do pity you right now. I pity you a lot. Brown.
Yeah, the ear.
I feel like is pitying you.
It feels like I've got a golf ball stuck in my eardrum. Which...
I thought you were going to say something else then. I was thinking, well, you should go and work in Bangkok. Okay.
Anyway.
All right.
Shall we get the next...
Bring them on.
Yes. Okay, so... I really do need to get 2 screens. Moving on. Okay, so next, all the way from the land of Texas Shire, it is. She's married, by the way. Apparently, Reniel.
Hello, fellows.
Hello, fellow human.
How are
nice to see you. I'm doing well. How are you?
Ooh. I'll survive.
Uh-oh.
Are you married, by the way?
Yeah. I don't know how you guys found that out, but yes, I am.
There was a vicious rumor circulating.
Yeah, not sure who started that, but yes, I am married.
And how's that working out for you?
So far so good. You know, I know we have way too much fun, except for when one of us is cranky or the other one. But you know, everybody goes through that. But yeah, it's been really fun being a newlywed. So.
Oh, good for you.
Haters gonna hate, folks.
How many months already? God, get over it.
If it's under a year, it's a newlywed. So you know what?
Oh,
suck
God.
it.
That's sickening, isn't it?
I'm just going to give everybody diabetes with all the sweetness.
Ugh.
Anyway, I think it's good to
Vile.
have you here, Rennie.
Thank you. It's good to be
Should we,
No,
get
it's
here.
should we get the next bod out?
Do it.
Okay. From a VPN far, far away, it's the golden reach around droid of choice. You know who it is, folks. Z3PO.
Oh, good evening, Mr. Brown.
How are you?
Very well, sir, and damn sight better than you appear to be. When I heard of your hearing impairment, I was torn
Pardon?
between wishing you well and switching my mic to omnidirectional and then speaking the wrong side for the entire stream.
Oh, I was like thinking something was wrong with my device. I was like, oh, no, here we go.
Luckily,
It's
it's
not
my
vibrating.
left side that's gone deaf.
Oh.
Switching to my right side mic, sir.
Right.
You're all a set of bastards, what are you?
Yes.
That's why you like us.
Sometimes. So everything good, Z?
Everything is good, sir, and I'm looking forward to addressing this evening's topics. Should we get another guest on?
I think we should. Okay, so, hey, he's back, folks. We see the good inside our next guest. It is the dark Sith Lord Geordie, and he's gone. Wait a minute. I think Rennie went critical. Hello.
Where's
Rennie gone?
Secret of
Okay,
comedy, going
yeah,
critical
hello.
mass.
Timing.
Timing. Hey, Lord, how are you?
Yeah, brilliant
been a
timing. I am all good, thank you. How are you?
Ooked, but I'll survive.
Yes. Oh, Rennie's back.
The caring
Oh,
nature comes
God,
out.
here we go. Bear with me, peeps. Secret of comedy.
Hello.
Timing. Yeah, I just like to have one stream here where my Wi-Fi just doesn't go kaput.
Yes.
I'm
Yes,
running the risk of that.
fantastic.
I'm uploading a video while I'm doing this stream, and normally that means I can't do anything else because the internet in the countryside is terrible. So if I suddenly start speaking like Stephen Hawking or be about 30 seconds behind everyone else, you'll have to let me know and I'll cancel the upload. But
If I may, what are you uploading?
I think it's the 33rd attempt to get the Peter Pan video past copyright. It's 2.5 hours to upload each time. It's been ready
Jeez.
since the Wednesday before last, and it has been just hell ever since. So hopefully this time, I've basically made the video 3 times over in that period.
Wow.
So maybe this time will work. Hopefully.
I hope it's worth it.
It really,
Yes.
the thing is, I wasn't even going to make this. Isn't even what I would consider to be a big main video. It was one I just happened to watch it, and I thought, well, I've got some thoughts. I'll throw something together in
you
between
do.
the big videos, and then this has ended up being this long odyssey of a quest to get this fucking thing online. And it's not. I don't even think it's going to be worth it. But I'm stubborn, so now it's begun. It must finish.
Smilek says, bet it's peasant porn.
Right, before we start then, here we go then. So, Theodore, Platoon,
Hello.
Stringer, Praise the Lad,
Praise the Lord.
Lad, yeah, Theodore, yeah, I missed Platoon. We all did, to be fair.
Oh, that's sweet.
Well, I'm back.
Here you go, Hostman. The Lord is back. Franco, holy crap, Lord Chord.
Are we going to do all of these? I think they've got the
Bugger everyone
else.
It's lovely to see you all.
We're filling, by the way, we're waiting for Mega Geek to arrive. Zagros Platoon is his own butler.
I'd like to see how that works.
Would you like a drink? Yes, I will.
Yeah, I basically just have the bottle in my own hand.
Oh, here we go. This is more important. Matt G. Bacon, yes.
Yes.
Your favourite Air Lord, Princess Fiona. God bless Platoon. Poor Lord.
It's a nice problem to have though, because I can't really do anything else while it's uploading because the internet is shit. I basically just powered all the way through Jedi Survivor in the course of a week because I couldn't actually watch anything else online. So I got loads of time to play games. So that was fun.
You're
I
such
just
a
now means I've got to catch
professional.
up. I know. Just means I've got work to do now, catching
praise
up
the
on
Lord.
Guardians 3 and then Mando Part 2.
Much love for you. I think everybody's missed you.
It is returned.
Here you go. I like my pheasants.
I like it when they obey. It's when they sort of demand their
Yes,
rights and their
okay.
pay that they get irritated.
Isn't it boring
Lord.
when they do that? Oh, such
When
a
they start
chore.
unionizing.
Oh, the worst.
We are expecting Mega Geek soon, so shall we proceed?
Go on then.
Yeah, it's his fault he's late, so...
He's working.
How
Freaking
dare he?
Rebecca Gold. No.
Whatever that is.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay,
whatever.
so we've got less guests, and it's probably one of the longest intros going. So I do apologise.
Bog down.
Hello, chat. We can see you. Good to see you, everybody.
It was impressive, though, because you only got about 60 seconds into the introduction before you did a transphobia, because you said, Happy Mother's Day, that's to all the females in the audience. And
American females.
as we know, that motherhood
Okay,
is
if
not
I've
limited
offended
to
people, I
sex.
do apologise. I will beat myself into a pulp later
Self-flagellate.
with a cricket bat.
I could be a mother if I wanted to.
Yeah.
But Mama Ben has a weird ringtone to it.
It kind of does, yeah.
Okay, so moving swiftly on, end of week musings, 14th of May, bloody hell, episode 143. I'll do the disclaimers. If you've made it this far, 12 minutes, you're a better man than me. If you're enjoying this content, please like, share, subscribe. Every single click will help this channel grow. I know everybody in the chat is subscribed, but if on the off chance you're not, please subscribe and donate, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, look, this again.
Rabbit Hole had its finale this week, didn't it, Z?
It did not see that coming. There we
Right,
go.
moving on.
That's it.
There we go. We can't
That's the
spoil
review.
it. There we go.
No spoilers.
Okay, we
Did
won't
it
give
make
any-
sense? Did it actually
Yes.
make sense? It did.
Yes, it did actually make sense. And no, I didn't see that coming.
And hopefully season 2.
Hopefully so, because overall the season's been pretty good. If you do like your conspiracy theory stuff, then I can recommend taking a good look at this series. It's a bit ridiculous at times, but it's worth it in the end, in my opinion.
It's very, very. Would you say it's complicated in a good way? It keeps you on your toes, doesn't it? But I think it all makes sense, doesn't it?
It does in the end.
Did you enjoyed it though? Yes.
I did thoroughly. I'm just trying to say something positive without giving away any spoilers.
I know it's very, very difficult.
It was
here you go.
good.
It was good.
Some nice cameos, some really good cameos. Here you go, Jaden Smith Eyes. Hello, my friend. Rabbit Hole is better than I expected because I couldn't understand the finale.
Because I could understand.
Could
the
understand the
finale,
Oh,
finale.
sorry. I'm deaf and blind.
Yeah.
I'm mad next. You see, this is
And-
not going well.
Just when you think you've got it all figured out, there's a little bit of a twist at the end to say the rabbit hole goes even deeper than you think it does.
Oh, yes. It's like peeling back layers of an onion, isn't it, Z?
It is, yeah.
Z
So
loves
if you've not
a
watched
deep-
it,
deep
give it a
rabbit
go.
hole.
I do love a deep hole.
Mm.
Pause for
Even
effect.
shoves rabbits up there sometimes.
Well, it's like a little pink rabbit nose twitching, isn't it?
See, here you go. Smilex also enjoys a deep hole.
Oh Lord. Did you see MJ UK 30 or 84's comment
No, I'm totally blind.
about calling you
It's
Helen
on its
Keller?
way, though.
That's the one.
That's great.
Yeah. I can't help it. Sorry. Okay.
I don't know. It seems to just be a weird form of dyslexia where you change so that if someone says I could do something and you read it as couldn't, and if they say they couldn't, you read it as could, which would make you a terrifying judge. I'm not guilty, my lord. Okay, so you say you're guilty. Okay, death.
It's good to have Lord back, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Brown be
Pointing out that you'd be
sitting over.
perfect for interviewing Jordan Peterson.
Oh no.
I will say, folks, it's not 24, which is a shame because we need to know what happened to Jack Bauer desperately.
But he does do a lot of dammits in it.
Yeah, I will say to tide us over, Rabbit Hole is pretty good.
It's a conspiracy theory series with lots of nice twists and turns. I say give it a go.
Yeah. Only 8 episodes. I think it's on Paramount Plus. Paramount are doing some really good stuff at the moment. So, Rabbit Hole, folks, check it out. I don't think you'll be disappointed.
No.
Okay.
I approve. 8 out of 10.
I
Very
approve.
good.
Let's move on. Oof. Z, I know this is you and I again.
It is you and I again. Yeah, I'm still loving Superman and Lois. This week's episode was absolutely top on form. A lot of people saying, oh, I'm getting bored with the cancer thing. Well, cancer's serious. Get over it. It's a very good family drama. Superpowers included. Fantastic twist at the end. Lots of super violence. I loved it. But it's just a shame that it's getting cancelled after this season.
Well, is it though?
I don't know. Is it going to be this or is it going to be Gotham?
Oh yeah, it's between Gotham Knights and this. I
haven't
I
watched
don't think
a single episode of Gotham Knights, so I don't give a shit about it.
Well, isn't it awful? Allegedly, surprisingly, not surprisingly. Why would you cancel Superman, which is at least liked? I just don't understand. Well, I do understand. They're stupid.
I mean, I think Tyler Hoechlin makes an excellent Superman. It's one of the
so
best
do I.
Superman series they've made to date. I know some people call him fugly. I'm looking at you, Renee.
You know what? I am not ashamed. I have seen him in person at a Comic-Con near my home, and he is, not a good-looking man.
He's got
Here you
teeth
go.
like sharks.
Matt won. Well, I know which it is, but the cancer thing is too much. The superpowers have taken a back seat. This season is too slow.
Oh, that's a matter of opinion. I think it's well paced, and I think they're very cautious in the way they handle certain things in it.
So here you go. Gui Ramos, this season is amazing. It has so much respect for Superman. Will Gunn capture that on the big screen?
Jackson Vohe says asks an interesting question.
If I can see it. Where is it?
Big Red J.
Bear in mind the chat's moving up. Sorry, I'm being unprofessional, folks. I'm boomering.
I mean, that's a pretty good question.
And then
It's more like a pink J.
As soon as I press the button,
I pressed it. Sorry. There you go. He's back.
do you want to
You
read
guys
it out?
gotta
Then, Lord?
stop pushing each other's buttons.
I'm assuming this. I press Brown's buttons all the time, but only when
I
you
bet
pay
He
me.
does.
Jackson Voorhees, did Superman's extraterrestrial sperm give Lois cancer? That's a question.
No.
Surprised it didn't come flying out of her eyes.
Well, I really enjoyed that joke.
Well, that would be a risk, though, wouldn't it? I mean, how fast and strong does it move?
That's true.
Exactly.
Well, we never get to find out because the kids just appeared after Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Yeah, thank God.
So we didn't go through the whole birthing experience or where they came from. They just suddenly appeared, like Wanda and Vision suddenly having 2 kids. As they appeared in exactly the same way. But for some reason,
Magic them
it
into existence.
worked this
Here
time.
you go. Princess Fiona, cancer sucks in real life. It does. I don't need it in my entertainment.
Well, you've got to address it. It's in within the realms of the real world.
The Holocaust sucked in real life, but Schindler's List is a good film. So
Oh, it's really good to have you back, Lord.
Welcome to
I mean,
comedy.
I get that. I get that.
It would take me a
That's an
million
argument
years
for
to
why.
think of anything like that. Well done. Brilliant.
That's an argument for why that you probably personally wouldn't necessarily want to watch the show, and that's fine.
it's
But
good.
it's not an argument against the quality of the show, because that's a different matter entirely. But I understand why people would want to avoid things that are sensitive, in their personal life that they find is very
Okay,
miserable and
The C
depressing.
Word
They
was
want a
good.
distraction from.
The C Word was a good show. Did you ever watch that?
Okay.
That was
C
good.
word.
No.
Yeah,
No.
it was
No.
about
C Word.
a woman living with cancer. It was quite a good series, I thought.
Was it a comedy?
It had comedy elements in it. Yeah, I can't lie.
Here you go. Not Brian. I'm not going to read this, but as I've said on previous streams, I think this is the best thing that's come out of DC in a long time, including the movies. What do you reckon, Z?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's a lot better than anything the Snyderverse has spat out.
And I read somewhere that possibly HBO, I think HBO have been putting money into this anyway. It may be going to HBO.
Well, I
If
hope
it-
so, because if it stays in the hands of the CW, it's just going to go down the shit tip like all of their
Yeah.
series.
This is
If it
the
goes
only,
to HBO, it will survive.
this is the only jewel in the CW's crown with what I've seen. So time will tell. I'm sure we'll find out in the next few weeks if it gets renewed. As we always say, we recommend Superman and Lois, best program you are not watching. Shall we move on?
Yep.
Yes.
This is where we need Ian.
Barry.
Oh,
What do you mean? Oh,
let me tell
What's
you, I
the
just got
damn
caught up with this
show?
show, and I have some stuff to say about it. So,
Go on then.
far away.
have you heard from Ian yet? Is he hopping on in a minute?
He said about 10:35.
Okay.
So
So
can you fill for the next 4 hours?
I got it.
Okay.
No. Upon having several recommendations from various people in my life, including you folks,
What?
yeah, I decided to give this show a shot because I have HBO Max. It's the only streaming service that I actually pay for. And yeah, I'm not a fan. I'll be honest.
get in the bin now.
Yeah, well, I'm going to pull you right in there with me because I'm going to tell you why in 2 seconds. So first of all, like I get that entertainment is about suspending disbelief sometimes, right? However, Barry's set in the real world. And so, when we have to suspend disbelief for something that is so unbelievable, and there are especially with this current season, there are quite a few almost borderline supernatural elements to this show. I just saw Brian's comments. So I don't know how I feel about it. I think it was season 2 where Barry and Fuchs somehow evaded the cops whenever he got into the fight with that guy, the Tai Chi instructor and or Taekwondo instructor. So somehow they evaded the cops, even though they were right there by the store. There were cops everywhere. There was a helicopter literally right above Fuchs's car. And they got away? Really? Like he shot his friend in season 1 in a parking lot? Or is it season 2? Shot him in a parking lot. There was a car like 20 yards away. Didn't get caught. Nobody heard the gunshot. And the guy was thought to kill himself. And then, you have all of these things happening with the Chechen guys and the Bolivian cartel that is just insane. And it's like,
Yes,
Is
it's a comedy.
see, I don't really find it very
Black
funny.
comedy.
The only
What?
person that I find funny in it really is NoHo Hank.
Oh,
And
I see.
now he's no longer a redeemable character after this last episode. I was actually rooting for him and his boyfriend. And, they were 2 of the very few likable characters other than Janice's dad. It it was really hard. Like this show, like Barry is an irredeemable character
Yep.
in my opinion. Like there, he says all this stuff. He tells people he wants to be a good person, but his actions prove otherwise. Like you sit there and you say you respect your teacher, but you kill his girlfriend, right? And you want to be, you want to be a good guy, but you do that. You kill your best friend or one of your best friends because, he couldn't handle a job. And I get that Barry tried to get him to leave the car he wouldn't leave, but you're going to kill him for it just so that you don't go down, even though this is the kind of work you do in your life, and you have to expect that it is dangerous and it is risky, but he doesn't get caught in situations where people would really get caught, I'm telling you. And, it's weird to me, even with his girlfriend, I guess, if you want to call her his girlfriend, Sally,
Yeah.
knowing everything that she's been through with like a violent ex-husband, and for him to kind of get up in her face and, give the appearance or give the illusion to the fact that you could possibly be violent. He doesn't see anything wrong with his actions. He's like, I didn't even yell at her. I didn't even do anything. I'm talking like I'm talking now. I'm like, no, you didn't. There is literally nothing that is redeemable about him. His loyalties flip-flop all the time. And it's just really hard to watch a show with the, main character, the title character, just being a horrible character. He's the worst character in the show, in my opinion. I don't find him entertaining at all.
So, other than those well laid out points, you're really enjoying this show.
Well, no, you know what though? I also like I said, I liked
Don't
NoHo
watch Hannibal, for God's sake, whatever you do.
Well, but see, we know who
look, here you go,
Hannibal
Rennie.
is.
Look, you go.
Hannibal's
Vex,
lovely,
Alex,
though.
want to
That's a
go?
great
We know
show.
Vex, apparently. Hello, Vex. Rennie is. Oh, she's shouting, by the way. Rennie is representing tonight. Love
Woo.
And
it.
this
Thank
is
you,
why you
Vex.
shouldn't let women on.
Oh, that's it. In the bin.
Especially ones that are just married.
That's
Also,
it.
what happens if you say Barry sucks 3 times in the mirror? Who appears behind you?
Probably Fuchs or NoHo Hank.
No, Mega Geek appears.
And I have one more point to bring up,
Oh.
and I'm so glad you're here, Ian, by the
Okay,
way,
timing.
because I want to know if anybody got a Twin Peaks vibe from the last couple of
Deep
episodes.
in the heart of Texas.
So I got a very big Twin Peaks vibe, when they're in the middle of
Never
the
watched it.
desert. What?
Which
Get in the
episode?
bin. Episode 4 and 5, like the end of episode 4 when they do the
Season
time
what?
jump of season 4 until
Oh,
She's
like,
up to date.
Yeah,
She's
yeah,
up to
yeah,
date.
Yeah, yeah. All right.
yeah, so like it gives off a very Twin Peaks vibe. Like if you watch the 3rd season when they showed like Judy and what's the name, Bob, like being produced in the desert and all this stuff, and then people start hearing weird noises, things just kind of go a little crazy. I feel like it really gave off that vibe, and I was like, okay, so now are we saying that maybe Barry isn't real? Is it going to be one of these endings where it's just a guy locked up in a cell dreaming that this is what his life is going to
I hope
been?
not. That'd be very disappointing, wouldn't it?
Well, it's just like I was telling the guys earlier, you're supposed to suspend disbelief, right? But whenever it's set in the real world, you expect a little bit more realism, and I just don't get that from this show. So
It's not, it's not meant to be real.
the only thing that makes sense to me is it's either a hallucination or, or maybe somebody, pitching a show like this, or the only other logical conclusion is that Barry has to die at the end, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, I this season's a bit weird as far as I'm concerned, but I can see what he's trying to do. He's trying to basically, he's not trying to repeat himself. He's trying to reinvent it for the very last time. And quite frankly, I find it very intriguing this season because it's not like the other ones.
Yeah.
So I also want to see where it's going to go as well. It's not boring. It's not crap. It is very interesting. And the performances are still really stellar. So I'm with Barry so far.
Here you go, Bishop Moore. Go to Morley, Mr. Brown charity shop on Main Street as Twin Peaks box set for £6. You'll enjoy it. I used to go raving at the Orbit in Morley.
Doesn't.
Well, see, you know
Moving
where
on.
it is, so that's half the battle.
I've been to Morley many times.
Anyway, hello everybody.
Hello, Ian.
Hello.
Yeah, sorry I'm
You
late.
just came in at the right time, man. I'm
Oh,
so
did
glad
I?
you're here. Yeah,
Okay,
because I figured you would understand where I'm coming from on some of this stuff.
I do. But I don't think the show's crap though. I think the show is very, very, very good, and one of the best shows I've seen on TV in a long time. That's what I think. But I'm sure you disagree. But it's okay. People can disagree, right?
No, she's wrong.
No, get in the
Get her
bin.
out of here.
Get in the bin.
Love you.
Probably go on then. You up to date?
Yeah, I am. I wasn't sure if it was going to be a time jump, but it was.
6 was it 6 years?
Yeah, 8 I
6.
think it was because the kid's
Yeah,
8, isn't he?
8. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, probably right then. 8.
Yeah, look, it's a very different affair from especially the 2 first seasons. The third one was the sort of bridge between those 2 seasons and this one. I still find it very intriguing. I want to know how this is going to resolve. I don't expect any journey for Barry that's going to end well. No redemption whatsoever. It's impossible. She's right, but it was never about that. I think that he was always doomed from the start. He could never move beyond his past. I just don't think that was ever on the cards in the first place. I think that was pretty clear from the first 2 seasons anyway. I think it's more about resolving and giving closure to the rest of the characters. And I think it's going to be a very bloody resolution. And I'm here for it, quite honestly.
It's not going to give you something that you expect, though, which is one of the best things about the show. Really, that's what I think. But as I said, where did Rennie go?
She went critical mass.
Picked her off.
Yeah, in the bin. She's in the bin.
She's in the bin.
I don't know if anybody else has seen the show, but it as I said, it's really unpredictable, and that's what I like about it.
I think they jumped the shark a bit, but that's just me.
What this
season?
This season, you mean?
Yeah,
it doesn't. For me, it doesn't
Bad.
feel right. But because I've invested in the last 3 seasons, I think I need to see it out. That's the thing. I don't think this season is as good as the last 3, but it's not like the last 3, which I find intriguing. And that's
it's very bold. It's a bold, creative decision.
Yeah.
There are some great scenes in this season, especially when Sally went to Hollywood.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that as well. That was mad. And Hank's reaction. I mean, the scene with the sand.
Oh yeah.
And then what happened when they broke up? That was pretty intense.
I don't think we'll see Hank again.
I don't think we will.
I think the thing is, though, you're right, Lee. They're all doomed, aren't they? I mean, even Sally. Sally's not a very nice person at all. She's a horrible person. Barry's not a very nice person either, even though his intentions were good. But unfortunately, he still went to the dark side. No one in this show, including Cousineau, no one is good in the show at all. So, so maybe they're all going to end up dead.
Fuchs took advantage of Barry when he would come back from Iraq.
Yes, he did. Totally.
Because he had very, very bad PTSD.
Yeah, he did.
He took advantage.
Yeah,
that's where he went. Because up until that point, Barry was a hero.
Yes, definitely.
Don't listen to Rennie. Go and watch it for yourselves. Make your own minds up.
Yeah, I mean, it's up to you guys. I mean, as I said, I don't mind it if people don't like the stuff I don't like, but it's just it is what it is, right?
That's right. There's a special place in hell for them.
Yeah, whatever. I'm assuming
to watch it on loop.
I'm assuming Z and Ben hasn't watched it, so
I haven't watched this at all. I'm afraid
I have not.
All right.
Melvin Deeply at Mr. Brown Alliance. That is moi. Move on to something good. Normal people like. Are HBO paying you? I wish they were. You've pissed off Rennie now. No, she's pissed me off. In fact,
hopefully she'll be back. Yeah, there she is.
Oh,
hello,
no.
lovely.
Yeah, I think my internet just had information overload, so I apologize. I had to reboot everything before I could come back on.
The Revenge of Barry.
No, you
Um,
know,
It's all
to
that
each their own,
dodgy
and I
stuff
We're getting
appreciate
bogged down, apparently.
I appreciate everybody's.
She's gone.
Oh
no.
no, she's gone
She's
again.
here.
Wow.
In, out, in, out. Okay, let's move on. Oh, yes.
I missed that Z sound.
Lord, I hope you're enjoying this slight update of graphics. I still need to animate
The
everything, but we'll get there.
Background color has changed. Is there anything
Yes.
else?
Little platoon is in white now.
Oh, it is.
Okay, Lord Chord, news round at Little Platoon. That's your channel, isn't it? Apparently.
Apparently it is.
How
I should
many,
say, Rennie, if you are still here, if Rennie can hear us and is wondering why we might potentially be talking over her, it's because we can't hear anything you're saying if you're saying anything. So you might have crashed. Oh no, she's gone. There we go.
How many subs do you have at the moment, Lord?
I think it's 130 something, but I don't know exactly. But yeah, I am 2 videos behind, which is kind of annoying. So it would be more had YouTube not been a bunch of dicks. But yeah,
That's
I'll
mightily
catch up. It's all good.
impressive.
Have you got a cold, Ben?
Slight cold.
I can hear it in your voice. Yeah.
Yeah, nothing too bad though.
Oh, good.
Apparently, I'm supposed to say hello to Graham Hepburn. Hello, Graham.
Who's
Shall we all say hello to
Who?
Graham
Hello,
Hepburn?
Graham.
Hello,
Hello.
Graham.
Hello,
Hello,
Graham.
Graham?
Are you crackers?
Right, okay. He must be coming here. Okay, so let's see what's in the Lord's bag of Twix.
Not even he knows.
I'm sure it'll be amazing.
Hello again, Rennie. Can you
Yeah.
hear
Oh,
us?
yes. Can you hear me? I'm so
Yeah,
sorry, you
we can
guys.
hear
I
you.
don't know what's
Are
going
you doing
on.
your best to derail the stream?
It's
No,
an
but,
elaborate
That's
attempt
my
at
job.
sabotage.
That's my
Conspiracy.
job.
Not a fan
Okay.
of AT&T right now. I'll tell you that much. But yeah,
Dallas AT&T. Yeah.
yeah, you know what's up.
Let's move on.
Oh, gold. I saw 15 minutes of this rubbish and I just turned it off. Just absolute
This is for you,
nonsense.
Lord.
It is.
Oh yeah, because I've not spent enough time.
So
at all
I think we
last-
discussed this. We discussed this a couple of weeks ago, didn't we? But I just thought it might be interesting for the peeps at home to hear about your struggles with. To be honest, is a second-rate piece of crap, isn't it? Really, when you think about it.
Yeah, I mean, second rate might even be to give it too high praise. It's
Why
so
are they so
empty.
keen with the auto bots, as it were?
I think Disney's changed the parameters. So I think the way it works is that different studios can essentially set an upper limit on the amount of footage that you use. And like an individual clip could be 9 seconds, 10 seconds, 11 seconds. Disney's always been comfortable with up to 12. However, this time they do seem to have changed it quite dramatically because I never use 12-second clips anyway. But it started off by flagging up sort of 2 clips. So the first time I uploaded it, it says there's 2 clips that they're 10 seconds long. We won't let you have those. And I thought, well, that's shit, and I would win the appeal, but that will take me a week. So it's quicker just to fix it. Fixed it. Back up. Here's another 2. Okay. Fix it. Back up. Here's another 2. So on for 32 attempts. And then they got rid of all of the 10-second clips and have now bartered me down to 8-second clips that are not allowed. So I've got an appeal in the works, which has been going for 4 days. They have 7 to reply. It's released the video to view now, but it's not monetizable until the appeal either expires or is accepted, which it would be. So I'm sort of holding off releasing that version and just carrying on re-uploading new amended versions. So hopefully a version, it might be the demonetized one, which will probably be sort of deprioritized in the algorithm, or it'll be the proper version, which is all completely ready to go, will be up for tomorrow. The only news about this film, though, that's sort of come out since it was released, I think, is that did Rotten Tomatoes suspend the audience score for a while, I think, a couple of days ago?
Temporarily due
Yes.
to polemic comments.
Polemic comments, yes.
Yes.
What does that
Which
mean?
is, it's the wrong word. They mean polemical as opposed to polemic. Polemic is the noun. But a polemic comment or polemical comment, if you're writing a polemic, you're being very sort of vociferous, you're being quite strongly worded. It's what you do if you're making an argument strongly against something using impolite language. That's quite polemical as opposed to sort of reasoned and objective. So to say that something has quote unquote polemic comments means that people were not very nice about the film. That's either the fault of the audience, which seems to have been Rotten Tomatoes' opinion, or it's the fault of the film for being shit. And I side with that opinion, personally. I think this film has taken away absolutely everything that made the original so magical. It's swapped in new things which don't make any sense. They've accidentally turned Peter Pan into a villain without realizing it. And they've actually removed Wendy's most important role in the plot in the bid to empower her because women are great. So, yeah, typical competence from Hollywood and from Disney in particular.
I heard that they where was it, Rotten Tomatoes? They put up somebody put up the likes or whatever it was via the audience. It was up to 93 or something like that.
It's currently at 12%, so it didn't do very well.
It's actually dropped
Oh, what a
2%.
shame.
It started at 14 was the first one that was reported as being low, and it's gone down since then.
All right.
Here you go, Jim D. Even Spielberg struggled to do a decent Pan film.
Well, I mean, it wasn't too bad, you know. It was like the first time Spielberg was actually dealing with
12%
real
now.
with real, you know, Hollywood actors. That was the very first film he dealt with real Hollywood actors. And the film wasn't too bad. I just didn't like the idea that Robin Williams was Peter Pan. But I
was
did enjoy
weird.
the film. Yeah, I thought it was a bit weird as well, but I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun.
It should have just been called Wendy.
This one, as I said, I saw 15 minutes of it. I thought, I can't be watching this. It's so shit. I hated the
You actually
photography
missed the
as
worst
well.
bits then.
Oh, did I?
Yeah,
Good.
the photography wasn't good. But no, up until sort of the third act, it actually doesn't go in too heavily for the gender politics crap. It does a bit of it. But everyone who was sort of worrying that this was going to be the wokest thing ever, probably for the first 2/3 to 3/4, it wasn't. It was just shit for other reasons. And then in the last final third, when you get the final battle, that's when it just goes all in. So you get that hugely cringy moment where she jumps off the plank, and she flies up. And Hook says, "You've got the boy's magic," and she says, "No, this magic belongs to no boy." And then the girls promptly go and beat up a load of burly trained pirates, while the boys cower in fear. And she saves Peter Pan several times, about 4 times, I think, over the course of the entire film. And it just becomes everything that everyone was always expecting it to be, on top of all of the new and innovative ways it managed to be worse than its forebears.
I'm not going to do the mark out of 10 on this occasion.
But I mean,
We'll save
Peter,
that for Wednesday.
actually, if you look at the cartoon we all like, Peter Pan's he's quite ugly actually. When you look at him, he's got a little round nose, he's got pointy ears like Spock, and he's just
And he's a
just a bit
ginger.
ugly.
Welcome to
Yeah.
body shaming on me, Mr. Brown.
Well, I'm just saying that he's not. They didn't draw him in such a way that he looked, I don't know, aesthetically pleasing in the film.
No,
Well,
I mean,
did you
there is
see-
the strong unrequited love thing. So Wendy does find him attractive, and that's an important part of the original story, is that
Yes.
she's older than he is, so she develops feelings for him that he will never return because he never grows up. But he is supposed to be the representative, not just
Cougar.
of boyhood, but of this sort of, I mean, the name Pan comes from the Greek myths anyway, so he's kind of a sprite, he's not a human, so he has those,
Yeah.
like you say,
Peter
pointed ears.
Pansexual.
He's not quite human-like.
Were you going to
Peter
say, Rennie?
Pansexual, if you insist.
No, I was going to ask Ian,
I
did
do.
you ever see like that old version of Peter Pan where it was like a lady that played the part?
No.
It's like I want to say it was like a play, but it was recorded, but it was a woman that actually played him like way
Pantomime
back
does
when.
that.
It was,
in the
it
UK,
was.
you have pantomimes.
Pantomime
and
day.
you have girls playing Peter Pan usually, or women.
Yeah, usually.
Yeah, that was
yeah.
traditional. Always a girl playing Peter Pan.
Lord, is this going to be on in the top 10 worst of 2023?
I suspect not, because there's a lot of 2023 left to go, and we have already had Ant-Man. Ant-Man was worse. The Marvels will be worse. Indy 5 will probably be worse. So it depends how big your list is. I don't think it will feature in the top 10 by the end, but it probably deserves to be, though, just because of the amount of... It's a really, really useful example, and I do this in the video, of sort of comparing the 53 film and then also the 2003 film and Barry's novel version of the play, which is back in sort of the early 1900s, to this one. And it's a really good way of showing how Disney has completely lost track of the ability to, even to understand what made its older works magical to begin with. So you just compare scene to scene, this film versus 53, and you see everything that's missing. It's a really useful guide to the way Disney has become soulless.
I don't know if it was in a green room I was discussing this, but we were talking about Disney, and we were talking about, is it Enchanted with Amy
Yeah.
Adams?
Yeah.
I think it was 2000 was it 2009 that came out?
Mm.
I remember on a Saturday night, I thought, right, I'm going to go see that. I drove to the cinema to watch Enchanted, and it was fantastic.
Yeah, I liked it. The first one. Second one was absolute nonsense, but the first one was quite
You know,
good.
a bloke in his 40s going to see effectively a fairy tale, Disney fairy tale, and it was great. Why
But
is
it was funny though as well. It was a
Yeah.
comedy.
if Disney just stuck to doing stuff like that?
Well, we all know why Disney's doing stuff like this is because they're not hiring real writers. They're hiring, you know, I hate to say this word, the left, who don't have no idea about free act structure, and they're
Yeah.
getting them to write stuff that they don't understand. So
Is
because
there any
they're-
redeeming features of this film at all?
I can't comics. I only watch 15 minutes, but I'm sure Ben can.
Jude Law does a passable job. He's not a very good Captain Hook, but he is by far the best thing in the film. So
Not a
there
singing
is
endorsement then.
no, but I mean, but it's not terrible. Is there anything else? No, I cannot think of a single thing.
Oh, here you go.
Otherwise, that's
possibly
worth
one then. Jim
praise.
D. Do Great Ormond Street Hospital still receive any money from these
bloody hope so.
adaptations?
I think they do.
I
Oh, well, there you go. There is
don't
a-
know because
Posi-
Barry sold the rights to Great Ormond
He did,
Street.
yeah.
I think just before he died. Disney. I would have thought Disney would have bought the rights from Great Ormond
Well,
Street
they
as
don't even
opposed to
pay
giving
their
them any money
writers, do
because
they?
it's
So they
it's
steal
Disney. So
stories.
it's
No,
stealing from
no.
a children's hospital seems very Disney. So
No,
No,
I think they do.
Yeah, Disney made a deal. Disney made a deal with the hospital, and they still get paid because that's what the original
Okay.
author wants. But unfortunately, I think it's out of copyright now, so I don't know what the score is now. So.
Here you go. We'll give the final word to Gui Ramos. They hire activists, not
That's
writers.
it. That's what I meant. Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely right. Yeah, that's what I mean. So that's the reason why we're getting crap after crap from Disney, especially when it comes
Okay.
to remakes. You know.
Mephisto X, hello. Been a while. Disney can't or won't go back to the good old days of movie making as their rating will tank. It will.
Well,
But you
Disney
can't spend ESG points. You know, that's
but-
the thing.
Disney used to be. I mean, they used to be obsessed with making good films, didn't they? I mean, look at the effort they made to actually draw Sleeping Beauty and shooting real people, real life, and then trying to figure out how they walked and all that stuff, and trying to make the animation as realistic as possible within the confines that they had in those days. They went out their way to try and make something that was special. But
And
today,
this is what they do now. I won't
Yeah.
read it, but move
Oh,
on.
no, it's public knowledge. Everyone knows they did that. I don't think there's anything wrong
Camps
with
that you
reading out the fact that they
concentrate
did
in.
that.
Oh Lord.
I mean, I saw a clip on YouTube where somebody slaps Peter or something like that, and is that in the
I think
film, or
Wendy
did I
does at
dream
one
that?
stage. No,
Sorry?
I think Wendy does slap him. I think Wendy slaps him at one point.
Mm,
She also saves him several times.
right.
She's the one. She's the one who. The real sort of crime of the thing, though, I think, is that it makes her so very generic. It wants to have her as the sword fighting, sort of rambunctious, one of the boys type heroine, just like every other modern female character is. And you again, it's a really useful scene comparison in the original, the 53 film anyway. There's a scene where all the kids that they're trying to get, well, they don't want to go to bed, and she says, well, you have to, and she's playing the part of mother, and they all say, well, we kind of remember having a mother, we don't know what one is, so you can be our mother. And she says, no, I can't be your mother, I'm not good enough for that. And then she goes on a long sort of soliloquy and gives a song about how wonderful mothers are, and it's really lovely and charming. And the 2023 film, by contrast, has the same scene, and her equivalent response is, nah, I don't know if I want to be a mother, and that's it, and they move on. And then she goes around and picks up a sword and starts
Wow.
twatting pirates. And I think you've missed the point of this character. This was always a story about Wendy. The original was a story about Wendy, and you've managed to take her from this icon of motherhood and moral virtue and turned her into a generic girl boss. Well done.
Well, they're putting the gender in
last
and all
comment.
that rubbish. That's the reason why it's shit. Do you know what I mean? So everybody
Yeah.
knows this. You know, it's common knowledge now. Let's face it. And Disney thinks nobody noticed, and Disney thinks that if they keep doing it, then we'll give in and go, okay, we'll admit that it's great when it's not. Do you know
It
what
really
I mean?
does seem like the long game, doesn't it?
Well,
Yes.
what they're trying to do is they're trying to create this the way they're thinking with these young kids. That's why they've taken on Doctor Who, trying to put in the agenda into that crap, and that's why they've taken on Peter Pan, doing the same thing slowly, subconsciously showing kids.
It's a game of attrition.
Yes, I'm saying
really-
that
There's
women, you know, are all women bosses now. You know,
The other
men
bit
can't
is,
tell them what
is
to
when
do.
she first arrives on Neverland after Hook shoots them down in this version. And she bumps into the Lost Boys and spots that they're not all boys and says, "You're not all boys." And one of the young girls says, "So?" And she says, "Well, I suppose it doesn't really matter." And I watched that and I thought, actually, hold the fuck up. Yes, it really does matter.
Yeah, because they were called the Lost Boys.
They were the Lost Boys, but also that defines Peter Pan's relationship with his entire world. That's the reason Tinkerbell is who Tinkerbell is because she has unrequited love for him. And that she's jealous of Wendy because Wendy's her only competition. And that's why she betrays him. It's what gives her the redemption motive later on. It's what allows Wendy to see through him eventually and grow up. It's what allows Tiger Lily to have a proper role in the script rather than just be another girl boss. Like, all of this is drawn from the fact that there are no girls in Neverland. That's incredibly important. If you just do away with that, then you've again missed the foundational point of what Peter Pan represents.
Lord,
Absolutely
while you're
agree.
up, could you read this super chat, please? While you're up,
can.
obviously.
Postman Socrates for $10. If you don't know, Jay at Desolate Soul Studios has a channel where he interviews different creators in the Comicsgate and YouTube space. I think he'd be a good base-up guest as he's here in the chat with us. I've been on Desolate Soul Studios, and they are coming on, I think, in 2 weeks' time. It's 2 or 3 weeks. So, yes, we're ahead of you for that, because I know they have a big announcement, but I won't spoil it. But, yeah, looking forward to having them.
There you go.
Lovely. Shall we move on? I fear we got a little bogged down in that.
Time to bog up, huh?
Go down.
Move along.
Moving on.
Okay.
Seems to be kind of Beetlejuice 2 stuff coming out. Monica Bellucci has been cast as Beetlejuice's wife.
Is she related to John
James
Belushi?
Bond.
Different spelling.
Okay.
She's Bellucci. He was Belushi.
September next year. This is out apparently.
I don't think it needs a sequel somehow. But hey,
No.
I agree.
But where can you go with it? Like, seriously, what can you do with Beetlejuice? How can you make it more interesting? It ended just fine.
Jen Ortega on it. Yes.
I'm glad. I'm glad. What's his name? Batman's getting more work, but I'm just sad that they're just regurgitating, stuff that's been done before.
And he's a ghost, right? So ghosts don't age. How are you going to explain him looking old and decrepit when in the first movie he really didn't, other than just looking dead?
No, he's not going to look too bad with this makeup on his face, though, is he? Let's face it.
I reckon.
He'll look all right. Yeah.
Well, it could be more decay or something. You could have
George Decay.
Like a tree or something. Yeah. Oh my.
Thing is that
would be funny.
The humor in Beetlejuice, I don't think that humor works today. So it'd be interesting to see what kind of humor they're going to put in it. You know what I mean? So
we should really do the original as a review.
I would love that.
Maybe.
I would love that.
I've never seen it.
What?
What?
Excuse me.
In the bin. Put him in the bin.
Now.
You've got to be kidding me. This
Okay,
is a classic.
Lord, are you available to take over? I've been put in the bin.
What is it? For the Americans, is put him in the garbage. So there you go.
In the trash.
In the trash, yeah.
He has put himself in the bin. Oh, no.
He's got...
Probably had to go.
I cannot believe that Brown has not watched this movie.
I'm shocked.
I know.
Shocked, I tell you.
How Brown? That's how.
How now,
Explain yourself, man. Get back here.
It's appropriate that I've replaced him because I don't think I've seen it either. So
Get out.
There you go.
Jesus Christ.
Get in the bin with Brown.
Well, in Ben's defense, he is quite young, isn't he? So he probably wouldn't have seen this anyway. So
does he know who Led Zeppelin is? Come on.
Yeah,
What do you think?
when it came out, he wasn't alive. I don't think. Ben, was he?
I wasn't
When did it come
alive
out?
when
No.
Shakespeare came out, but I still know what it is. And it's...
That's right.
That's not the point. Yeah, well, I get what you're saying. Lee, get what you're saying.
I've climbed out of the bin now. I think. Oh yeah, there we are. We had fun in the
dare
bin.
you.
It was great
How
fun.
dare
We
you.
won't tell you what
I
went
was
on.
going to
but it
ask
was
what
good.
you were doing in the bin together for so long.
filth. Utter
Maybe we
filth.
should have a 300-second sin bin in future. If any guest is totally out of order or just something like that, they're in the bin for 300
That's not
seconds.
Someone
fair,
says the
because
Vex says the C word again.
Yeah. I'll be in the bin all the time.
I was going to say
Yes.
some of us will be in the bin like
Yes.
most of the stream.
That's just discrimination.
Here you go,
Brown.
Tim. I like saying this. Hannah Bomb, 300 seconds for Pluty. Yes.
Well, I mean,
Plenty.
maybe she's playing his wife when he was alive, or maybe she's playing his wife.
She was a great Bond girl, wasn't she?
She was only in it for a couple of minutes, though, wasn't
Looked
she?
great, though.
Yeah, she looked a bit old in that segment, I thought, but there you go. Because she is a woman of age. Let's put it.
Movie Cynic would have a fit about her neck, I'm sure.
Yeah.
There's a thing about it.
Yeah.
Happens to us all.
Yeah.
Speak for yourself.
Is it going to be any good?
I don't know. We'll find out, won't we?
Mm.
Like I said, I don't know where you can really go with the story. So they would have to be really creative. I mean, it had a logical conclusion for the most part. So I don't see what could have happened between now and then, or how you can explain the need for more Beetlejuice. The movie, it was a standalone movie. It was fine in its own.
How's he going to unshrink his head?
That's right.
Yeah, that's funny, that scene. Made me
That would
laugh
probably
in the cinema.
explain
Never
why
seen
he's
it.
got more wrinkles, because he's had to re-stretch it out.
There you go.
Good
Ghibli,
thinking.
no Tim Burton, no dice.
Who's
That's
directing
right.
it then? Does anybody know? So Tim Burton's not directing this?
Pass.
I thought he
Yeah, if
was.
that's the case, then no.
I
I
don't
thought
know.
he said he was coming back for
I
it.
think- I
Chat
thought
help
he
us
was.
out.
I
Oh,
thought-
look,
I
there we
hope
go.
he is.
Yeah.
Mr. Dependable himself.
He's
Tim-
directing.
There you go.
Good.
I like saying this. Hannah Bomb, especially now because he's saved our ass. TB is directing.
Good.
Good. Get Danny Elfman back on the
There you go.
tunes.
Latino slant, yeah, TB.
Mm.
Yes, she was also in Matrix.
Yeah, she was,
Reloaded,
yeah,
yes,
she was.
nice.
I hope that they do practical effects and not just make it a CGI mess.
Mm.
Nah, that's not going to happen.
Well,
they
but
put
it's
some
Tim
CGI in
Burton.
there.
He doesn't do a lot of CG. I could be wrong.
Well, did you not see what is it? The Mad Hatter. What was that thing called?
Oh,
Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah,
that was
that's
covered
true.
in CG, wasn't it?
That's true, but it was still good. The first one was still good.
Right, I'm
I
going to
didn't
try my
like it.
best to read this. John Z, is it John Z? Mr. Brown, that's me. You being proper younger, I guess, I can't be that mad because I hadn't really watched any Star Wars stuff for 20 years until I found your channel. I'm assuming he's watching The Last Jedi.
That's not a good
Or
one.
at a push, Rise of Skywalker.
No, Star Wars. He says Star Wars.
Yeah,
so
actual
hopefully
Star Wars.
First actual Star Wars. Yeah.
Force Awakens?
Oh, God.
Force Awakens are rubbish.
No,
Rogue-
actual Star
Rogue One?
Wars.
Yeah.
Oh,
Actual
okay.
Star Wars.
Oh, that'd be Rogue One then. Okay.
Oh
Stop
no,
it.
Brown's going back in the bin soon. I
Yep.
can feel it.
Yeah, get in the bin,
Get-
Brown.
Get in the bin. Shall
next?
we move on?
Yes.
Mhm.
Do it.
What's this?
Oh, God.
We're getting
Walking
another.
Dead.
We're getting another
Why?
Walking
Oh,
Dead
Lord.
series, everybody.
I thought that guy
My dad
died.
quite often goes on binges for The Walking Dead, and he's doing another one. Like he likes his post-apocalyptic. I like post-apocalyptic stuff as well, but he frequently goes on these binges of post-apocalyptica. So he's been going back over The Walking Dead, which it's been a fun opportunity to sort of remind us, or remind myself, what this used to be as a franchise, and then you compare it to now. So the original plan was that they were going to do multiple spin-offs. This is one of them. Featuring many of the main characters, including Rick, Andrew Lincoln's character, who was originally coming back for 3 feature films. But then its viewership dropped. Was it like 3,000%? It was a huge drop. And they then put that on the back burner. Now they're trying to come out with a number of these other spin-offs because the current one which is Fear the Walking Dead, I think, is coming to an end soon. They
Yeah.
had a teen spin-off as well, which I don't think anybody watched.
Oh, that was
And
awful.
this is one of them. So they go. Maggie and Negan go to New York. I stopped watching after they killed Glenn, like about 90% of the
Harry
audience, so
and
I don't know
Negan.
really what happens with him. What?
What? Did you say Harry and Meghan?
No. Although that would be an interesting series. I would pay to watch them
Go to
survive
New
a zombie
York.
apocalypse.
In the real
but then-
world. Yeah.
They're with zombies every time they go and do a fan
There's a
sort of
spin-off there,
walkabout. So
folks.
there is. There's
Yeah,
another
so
one like
what-
someone. I think Daryl ends up in France somehow, and there's another one with somebody else.
Yeah, in this one, Maggie's son has been kidnapped and taken to Manhattan. So they're going there to rescue him. I watched
is
the
that-
trailer. I'm intrigued. I'm a Walking Dead fan. I watched it. I'll watch it to the bitter end of.
Hold on, that guy
Not seen
holding
any
the
of it.
baseball bat, isn't that the guy
Yeah.
that killed Glenn?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
Negan.
Yes, that is Negan.
He's still alive?
Yep.
Not Megan.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, that's when I stopped watching it. Same with Ben. I just thought I
That arc
couldn't
was
watch it
so
anymore
drawn
after that.
out. Oh, God.
And I thought they would have killed him a long time ago because he deserved to be. And he's still alive. Well, that just sucks, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Well, he
he
had a
was
redemption
redeemed,
arc.
wasn't he? I only watched like a couple
How?
of episodes after that, but
How he
Yeah,
put a
exactly.
I
baseball
don't know.
bat.
See,
with spikes
you watched all
across
of
the
it.
guy's
How
head.
did they redeem Negan?
Exactly.
They took him out of prison where they left him to rot, and he infiltrated a group of skin jobs. Basically, they wore the skins of the walkers, and he infiltrated their group who were trying to attack them and off their leader. So he went in and joined them and then killed them. Fantastic.
And
it
he
was
was
really good.
protecting the
Yes.
daughter, wasn't he, as well, the little
Yep.
girl?
And Maggie does not forgive Negan, not yet. So their relationship is going to be entirely fraught with obstacles, I'm sure. I'm looking forward to it.
I was going to say, it sounds
You
like
know.
you're in already.
I
I
am,
was gonna
yeah.
say.
Watch the trailer, I'm in.
I heard that the main show did get better after that season, but it
It
was sort of
did.
too late to save it for most of the audience who switched off. So, I mean, besides you, is anybody else actually looking forward to it?
No, not
I've
interested.
not even seen any of the others.
I have, and I stopped watching it, and when what's his Glenn got killed, I was like,
I
nah,
just-
I'm not watching this.
I feel like
Go on,
there's
Ray.
just too much zombie apocalypse obsession, at least in America.
Yes.
And I guess there's zombie fatigue. And I honestly know a lot of people who, watched Walking Dead to the end. I could not.
Well,
But,
every student film is a zombie film, and
Yeah.
it's everywhere. It's one of the
It's-
cheapest, easiest things in the world to make as well.
It's
Well,
just
it's got
boring
really
after a
interesting
while.
of late because Fear the Walking Dead has done something to the zombies where they can now climb and start opening things.
Oh,
So they're-
Velociraptors in Jurassic Park.
yeah, so the
Oh,
zombies,
yes.
the zombies' cognitive abilities have been changing. So now they can climb ladders and open doors, whereas before they couldn't. It was just the force of the group.
So they're becoming self-aware like Skynet and more
A
intelligent.
a little bit more intelligent than they were, and I think the new type of zombies are actually a lot more frightening than the old ones.
Yeah.
Did
Yeah,
they go on
I guess
Twitter?
that was necessary.
Yeah.
Did I go on Twitter? I'm probably already there. But I mean, talking about the zombie fatigue, I mean, I think The Walking Dead is kind of responsible for that, but in the best way imaginable, in the sense that, The Walking Dead did something really groundbreaking, I think, with that franchise when it first started, and sustained it for a good number of seasons before it sort of became a bit. It lost the charm element, and it became so bleak that a lot of people just didn't find anything, I don't think, to invest in. There was
Did,
no
Yeah.
sense
Speaking
of
of
hope or light at the
bleak,
end of that.
look who's here, everybody. The movie cynic. Hey,
Yay.
No,
Did they kill off
Matthew.
Space Jesus in Walking Dead?
Oh. Yeah, she does die, doesn't she? I think.
I hope so. Oh, please, somebody send me that
Oh,
clip because I hate it so much. Stick it in Star Trek.
Yeah, she turned into a zombie. Yeah.
Here you go. Latino Slants being incredibly generous. $2. Brown, first time. Great panel and stream. Cheers.
Hey.
We are here
That's
every
very
Sunday.
nice.
See ya.
Here you go, folks. Melvin Deeply. I stuck with Walking Dead. They ran out of ideas early. Fear, what's that? The Walking Dead
Yeah.
was awful. Made it about halfway through that. This might start good, but they will run out of ideas again.
Well, I've got to agree. Fear the Walking Dead to start out quite terrible, but then they started crossing over with the main Walking Dead crew, and characters started bleeding over from one into the other, and it did get better.
So what's the point of having two different shows if they just merge into one mess?
Well,
I don't
the same
understand
universe, but
yeah, I know,
it's
but I
a
mean,
Deadverse.
you want to keep it separate.
Oh,
Deadverse.
nice. God, it's
As I
good to
said,
have him back, isn't it?
I just stopped watching it when he killed Glenn, but I just thought to myself, I can't watch this now because this is ridiculous. You know, it's like is there no morals in the writers? Yeah, I know they want to shock us, but I mean, I think they just went too far with that, and especially the way, way he died as well. I thought
that is the problem with it. So previously, the Walking Dead there's a sort of a cheat sheet to writing The Walking Dead, so that there's a set character list, and you know when someone is going to be replaced. Because let's say you have a wise old guy, and a new wise old guy turns up and joins the cast. Well, you know the original one's going to die because there's always got to be one of those in the party at any given moment. But they did away with Herschel as the old wise guy and didn't replace him. And that's when the show loses its sense of optimism and its moral center, and it's where Rick sort of loses his guidance and his mentorship relationship. And then it becomes just irrepressibly bleak. It's just like constant. Nothing is ever going to be nice again, ever. And you can understand from a dramatic point of view why you might want to give that impression. But actually, I don't think an audience really resonates with that. We all like to see that there is some goodness somewhere in the world that we're being shown. Yeah, and for too long, The Walking Dead didn't have that.
It doesn't. And like, do you remember that scene in it where I don't even know what episode it was where Rick was in this bar and all these people were, were basically gonna try and take them over, and it looked like everyone's calmed down, and the guy pulls a gun and Rick just slaughters them. like someone from a Western, and that was really cool. I like stuff like that I do like the trauma and stuff like that, but it has to be balanced out with something that says good always triumphs, because I think that's a good thing to put in films. I understand sometimes you have to have bad endings and stuff like that, like the time when they found out the little girl was a zombie. Do you remember that when it came out of the shed?
And that was really effective.
Yeah, it was. But then you had Rick always kicking ass and stuff like that, and that kind of balanced it out. But that episode where this guy killed Glenn, especially the way he killed him, I thought, no, I don't want to watch this anymore, because that's that. You know what I mean? So that's just the way I felt about it.
If I may, I will say some top modding from Matt G. That's my Rumble address. Possibly going to do something on that at some point. Possibly. So if you care to subscribe, that would truly help me out a lot. Okay. Shall we move on from this? I fear we're getting a little bit bogged down in the zombie.
Bog up.
Tom Cruise.
Okay,
I think you got a hard on for Tom Cruise.
Christopher McQuarrie revealed one of the first talks he held with Tom, the professional Cruise, for Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. He said, I want to drive a motorcycle off a cliff. What do you want to do? And I said, I want to wreck a train.
Okay.
I think after Top Gun Maverick, Tom Cruise should do whatever the fuck he wants to do.
Yeah.
Not long to wait for this.
I hope he doesn't end up dead by doing all these stunts and stuff like that, because they are pretty dangerous, and I just get a strange feeling he's going to push it too much.
Yeah, he's just going to push the envelope too much. He's going to do it. The 7th time will be at the end of him, won't it?
Well, he knows what he's doing. I do like him as a filmmaker. I really do.
Here we go. Look. Evil Knievel already did that.
He jumped over 12 buses.
Yeah, Tom Cruise is like the Evil Knievel of the film world, isn't he?
Yeah.
Well, no, because Evil Knievel kept crashing.
That's true.
He wasn't actually very good at what he did.
But I got the toy, though. Yeah, I got the
Yes,
toy. Toy
we
was
had the
great.
toys.
But he
Yeah.
never gave up, until it
No, he
was too
didn't.
broken.
Here you go, Bishop. He did wreck the train. Think it was filmed in Yorkshire. I think it was either Yorkshire or Derbyshire, somewhere like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm looking forward to this film. I think Tom Cruise is a really good advocate for action films. So, and I like action films. So,
Here you go. J Desolate Souls Studios. I would say Cruise is the new Jackie Chan.
I wouldn't go that far.
I don't know
Wouldn't go
about
that
that.
far.
Well, I would say treasure him because he's one of the dying breed of action heroes, isn't he? Really?
Well, Hollywood star. He's one of the
Oh.
last Hollywood stars because
Yeah.
Hollywood stars don't exist anymore.
Not according to Melvin.
Isn't tonight the BAFTAs, by the way?
It is, yeah. TV Awards, I think.
I wasn't really
Melvin Deeply. I hope he rides a motorbike into a box. They nail it shut, and we don't have to look at his idiot chosen one face anymore.
Dang.
The fruitcake is strong with this one.
He is bonkers, but
he's a professional.
Yeah. He's a good actor. He's just crazy in real life.
He hasn't got anything in his life. He's got kids, yes, and I get the feeling that making films is more important to him than anything in his life.
I think something strange happens to you when you earn millions and millions and millions and millions upon millions of dollars. Anyway, I think you're going to go a bit loopy.
Well, I think he made about 140 off Top Gun. Personal money.
Jackson Vogie's in the chat's compared him to Wings of Redemption, and I'm really struggling to see how. Wings is that 300 stone fat YouTuber who recently had a boxing match with another 300 stone fat YouTuber.
Oh my god!
And he's famous for being just pathetic. I really want to see where this comparison's coming from.
I'm actually going to be watching the EFAP coverage of that after this.
Are they covering it? Because I did chat with Molly about that. I wasn't sure if they were going to do it.
There's an EFAP mini of them covering the fight, which I'm going to watch after this.
I'll be watching that, definitely.
It reminds me of that meme of two retards fighting.
They get a lot of views then, I'm assuming, on that fight.
I think probably quite a few. It was the undercard for some other YouTuber fighting some other person. I don't understand boxing, but it's just, I mean, you cannot overstate how fat these two people are.
Easy.
I think it was three. They did 3 rounds of a minute length each because otherwise they probably would have died. And yeah, I haven't seen the fight yet, but I really want to watch it. Tim,
I'll start again. I'll humour the Time Prophet. Tom Cruise is the modern Warwick Davis.
Having a go at his height.
Smilex says, Boogie, 2988, got his ass kicked.
He did, apparently. Hadn't prepared. Whereas Wings, for the first time in his life, had actually put some work in.
Here we go. Sorry. Abject mediocrity. Platoon v Brownie. Make it happen.
Oh my gosh, yes. Do it.
by an open fire, like in Little Women. No, what was it?
What?
Little Women at a fight.
No, glass of the finest port to the voter.
The Oliver Reed film, whatever that was.
And a stogie. Fine Cuban stogie.
Why not a duel at the end of John Wick 4?
Yeah.
That would be fun.
Shut up, you.
That would be a lot
come
of
on.
Pistols at dawn.
Women in Love, thank you.
Okay, look.
Gordon.
There's a fight in Women in Love?
Isn't it?
I don't know.
For heaven's sake, the film with Oliver Reed where they're fighting naked in front of the fight. Shut up.
I see. That's what you mean.
Yeah.
Shall we move on? Tom Cruise, looking forward to it. $1 billion guaranteed. Come on, Tom. Do the business. Let's move on. Speaking of doing the business, who
He
saw
just likes
these
dressing
photographs?
up. He just loves dressing up.
So, I'm buzzing for this now. Doctor Who, everybody.
I don't know. I'm not. I mean, the Doctor has never tried to blend in with his environments. He was whatever the hell he wanted. But this Doctor seems to dress for whatever time period he's in, and it's really weird.
The Doctor is an anachronism. Yeah. He's meant to be out of time, and he's supposed to walk into a place and own the area. He doesn't care the way he's
That's
dressed.
right.
What if he's got a
companion
psychic costume?
Let me say one thing, right? That
Go on.
none of you are going to say. The Doctor is not black. There you go. I said it. So there you go.
I thought this was a Bridgerton poster when I first saw it.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Apparently it's
That's
not.
my thought.
They look like they're all going to the
Downton Abbey.
toilet at Weatherspoons, don't they?
Yeah, well, never mind. I mean, the show's just not good. It's as I said, I disagree with the Doctor being black, you know, and I disagree with the way they're going with this Doctor. You know, they give him an afro, they give him a blue suit, they get, you know what I mean? It's ridiculous. But
It's lipstick
who
on
knows?
a pig.
It might be great. You never know.
So
You
here you
never
go,
know.
JDSS. I'm going to do that from now. Pass. It's Disney, and it will be crap.
Yeah, get your mitts off Doctor Who, for crying out loud.
Too late.
Yeah.
Ironically, I think what I've seen of the next story, the teasers, the special effects, you can tell there's been some money spent on them.
Yeah. Yeah, there has been money spent
Yeah.
here, but what's the point in spending loads of money when you're still going to be given the agenda and TV shows, and
Yeah,
this one looks like it's got a big agenda. So
I'd rather have a good story than just, you know, here's a great bunch of CGI mess on screen. You know, it's just not really encouraging me when I see bells and whistles, I'm always thinking, yes, why are you not showing us the story? Get us engaged with the story, not the bells and
Okay,
whistles.
Time Profits shouting, it will not be great. Franco Walker shouting, it will not be great.
I don't think it will be great.
Yeah.
yeah, we'll see. We'll see. You know,
Not Brian, polished turd, I wager.
Agree with
you know,
not Brian.
I'll give it a shot, even though I disagree with the whole of what I've seen. But I'll give it a shot and see what it's like. And if it's
Yeah.
rubbish, I will report and say it's rubbish. You know.
Oh, I agree. I mean, I gave Jodie a season, and I watched it from start to finish, and she wasn't for me. I thought she was terrible. I'll give Gatwa the same thing. I'll give him a season, and if I don't like it, I'll drop it.
Yeah.
When is the series? When does it start?
Next
Wait,
year, I think.
the specials in November.
Yeah, they're in November the 60th.
That's David Tennant, 3 episodes.
I'd love it if we came back here in about a year's time saying, Doctor Who, fucking incredible, amazing.
Yeah, I would love to do that as well.
I'd love to do that. Yeah.
I don't
It would
want
be
to go
great,
into
but
this thinking it's going to be crap. I'd love for this Doctor to be absolutely top on, and everybody to go, yeah, the magic is back again.
But if you watch his performance in front of the coronation bunch with the awful Romeo and Juliet, it doesn't really inspire much confidence, I have to say.
I was just going to ask,
Exactly.
is he a decent actor?
No, not in that. He wasn't. He was awful. It was really hammy and cheesy, and just no. It just talks really street as well, which doesn't bode well for the character of the Doctor, who's supposed to be an aristocratic Time Lord. You know.
I think what's going to happen is they're going to release this one. I think the David Tennant ones is going to do well, but not as well as everybody think it's going to be done, because the audience is checked out, especially in the normies. But I think this one's going to start off strong, and then the
Fizzle.
it's going to decline in
Yeah.
viewership. And the reason why it's going to decline in viewership, and I'm telling you why, it's because of Shooty. That's why it's going to decline.
That's brutal. Lord, are you available to read a super chat for
I suppose
one
so.
of your favourites?
From Princess Fiona for $2. He only got into med school because he's black. Yeah, he's the affirmative action Doctor.
Oh boy.
Some poor Asian guy was meant to be cast in the role.
You know that's probably going to be what's next.
Do you know what Russell T said? He said he interviewed everyone from women to men to be the Doctor, and Shooty was the one that stood out. I find that very hard to
I
believe.
don't believe him.
Yeah, I find it very
Yeah.
hard.
Absolutely do not believe that. I think he was foisted on him by Disney. That's what I think.
Probably. I mean, a lot of
I'm
people were
probably thinking,
were really trying to get attention to Michael Sheen, and the fact that he didn't even get half a chance was a bit
Too
upsetting.
white, too privileged.
I did a title sequence for my channel with him as the Doctor. I think
He would have been great.
Yeah, absolutely.
You go, Movie Cynic for $5.
Trying to get you into trouble.
Uck. Mylan Dulvaney.
That's Brown's
That's-
favorite
Good save
lady
there,
right
Brown.
there.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
That's
He thinks she purty.
two words that are definitely banned on this channel.
Does anybody think what's her name, Mrs. Sunday, whatever her name is? Do you
Ruby
think
Sunday.
she's pretty?
She's pretty, but I mean,
Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah.
I mean, she's just yet another blonde-haired teenage Earth girl, just like RTD's first season.
Okay,
Yeah.
let me
Yeah.
rephrase the question. Do you think she's sexy?
No.
No.
Do you think Amy Pond is sexy?
Yes.
Yes.
I think she is for
Yes.
from my
And see, this is my problem with this casting.
But I thought Karen Gillan's sexy was in her attitude.
and
Yeah.
her legs. So there you go.
Scottish
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know. I think they wanted someone that was pretty, but if I was cast, I would get someone that was sexy, because I think that's one of those traits with Doctor Who, isn't it? A lot of the what do you call them now? Companions.
I just
Especially
want
recently,
a
they're quite
companion
sexy.
out of time or from a different planet
Yeah.
or something different. Like in the classic series, you had Leela, you had Romana,
Billy,
yeah, it's and
Amy, yeah.
yeah, you had loads. You had Jamie as well with the second Doctor from
There you go.
600 AD or
In the
whatever.
chat, Bonnie
Anyway.
Langford.
Body
no.
language was
Yeah.
awful.
Very good, very good.
Awful.
Which was better than Sophie Aldred. Let's be honest.
Oh, Sophie
I
Aldred.
like tastes. What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
she was all right.
When she was young, yeah.
Couldn't act at all. I'm sorry. She
Professor?
could not act.
Professor.
What are you talking about, Professor?
Wicked. I mean, really?
yeah.
It's a product
it
of
was
its
so cringe.
time.
Much like this stream. Here you go, folks.
Oh,
Bishop
thank
Moore.
you.
Problem Beings. Excellent. Doctor Who titles for Michael Sheen. There's the link
Thank
there,
you.
folks.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a shame. Doctor Who's going this way, because it's one of it was one of my favourite shows.
Tim, I like saying this. Hannibal, he'd give Billy one.
Billy won.
See, one
Well,
thing
no,
I
it's-
just don't care for that they've been trying to do with this, Ian, and I know
Last
you said
comment.
you think the girl should be sexy, but I don't like the idea of the Doctor having a romantic relationship with his companion.
I
It's
don't think you need to worry
inappropriate.
about it with Shooty. Let's be
Well,
honest.
I know that, but I
No,
just think it's inappropriate. I mean, he's
No,
like
no,
what,
no.
1,200 years old. It's gross.
I know. I agree
anyways.
with you. I
Yeah.
agree with you. But
But, yeah.
the sexy companions are for the dads.
Oh,
That
okay.
was originally what they were for the dads.
Dirty old
watching.
man.
But there's nothing wrong with that at all.
No.
And because you fancy someone, because they cast someone as sexy, doesn't mean to say we're all dirty old men. No, we're just males.
No, I don't.
You know,
I don't
so
think that. It's
know.
just
But
when
Doctor should be
R2D
asexual.
Problematic attitude. That
Yeah,
now, though,
I mean,
Ian.
it's
Sorry,
okay for the
Lenny.
Doctor to fall in love once, and he has done that now. So he shouldn't never do that again. So
And
Yeah,
then
it
they did
just
with what's the face? Sorry, Rennie, I'm talking over you. Go on, Rennie.
No, yeah, like with the whole Doctor and Rose thing, I didn't like it. I thought the River Song thing was good because she wasn't a constant companion, so there was nothing inappropriate.
It
was
wasn't good. It wasn't
so
good.
I don't know. I didn't. What? I didn't like
River Song
that
thing
whole-
wasn't good. River Song, right? They cast someone that
What?
was old enough to be Matt Smith's mother, and I
Yeah,
just
but at
cringed
the
every
same
time they
time,
kissed.
in a
Yeah,
way,
she's all right, though.
yeah.
And
but
I was
here's
like,
the thing.
no. What?
I'm going to try and pronounce this. Sir Culminips.
Oh,
Pride
that's so
and
rude.
racial prejudice. Thinking
Oh,
man's
dear.
joke. That.
Oh, brilliant.
That's a thinking man's joke. There, everybody.
But yeah, no, Ian, I
Well
get what
done,
you're
well
saying
done.
about River, but
brilliant.
in a
Yeah.
way, she was kind of a Time Lord, right? She was
She
actually.
wasn't a Time Lord.
Yes, she was. Like because
she
she
wasn't.
was like in the TARDIS
Let's
when she
not
was
get
created.
bogged down who was a Time Lord and who wasn't.
Look,
She was
I
a
d-
semi-Time Lord,
Can we
and she was
No, she
actually
wasn't.
200 and
See-
something years old when she died.
Alex
No,
Kingston.
well, no,
brilliant,
she
yes.
wasn't. What are you talking about?
Yes, she was. Like
She
in
wasn't.
yes, in that episode with her and Peter Capaldi, she was
10
like,
seconds.
oh, not too bad for like 200 or 202 or something like
Yep.
that. She was 200 years old.
She was 200
Right.
years old.
We're getting bogged
Yeah,
down.
she was a semi-Time Lord. She even regenerated on the show.
In the
Oh, God,
Husbands of River
yeah.
Song, she
That's
actually
awful.
mentions that.
Yeah,
love that.
that's
Make
bearing
me
in
cry.
mind, like, you know, the
Sorry,
10th
folks.
Doctor had a relationship with Billy, you know, Billy Piper's character, and she was supposed to be 18 or 19.
yeah. I
But
know
we
that's a
can't
bit weird, wasn't it?
criticize. Yeah, we
Yeah.
can't criticize.
I like that there must be some
Cougar.
old timeline where like the age of consent on Gallifrey is like 3,000 years
Yeah.
old, and he's exiled because he keeps going for 19-year-olds. He's basically
Dirty
an
old
intergalactic
man.
paedophile.
Well, I mean, he was 900,
Good
so
job I
that was
spoke over
kind
that
of.
word. Shall we move on?
I did not like
Yeah.
River Song at
Because we're
all.
getting bogged down.
Like if
Did not
Philip
like.
We gotta
Schofield
bog
was a
it.
Time Lord.
I hated when she said, "You're smiling.
Shut up.
You're a man. You're smiling." I was like, "What? What are you talking about, woman?" Do you know what I mean?
Sorry, folks. I'm
Seriously.
doing my best. Can we move on? We're really getting bogged down,
Bogged.
especially because I know
Shaboganed
what's coming
down.
next.
Now then,
Uh-oh.
now then.
Now then, show waddy, Doctor
Jingle
Who,
jangle jewelry.
Oh, for God's
David
sakes.
Tennant. Who saw the
The trailer.
yeah?
Nothing new there. Then
I saw part of it.
there was nothing new in that trailer at all. Everything we've seen
No.
before. You know, somebody pointed out no pictures of Bernard Cribbins. But we'd rather have a man dressed as a woman.
Well, we
instead of
know
Bernard
the
Cribbins,
villain
you know.
is confirmed to be the Toymaker because the original laughter of the Toymaker from the original series, original classic series from the first Doctor, is the same laugh. So we know that's the Toymaker.
And that hairstyle doesn't do him any good either. It makes him look older.
I don't
Yeah, I
understand
agree.
why they would bring back the Celestial Toymaker, as only one episode of that saga exists.
Mm.
We'll have to find out.
Well, he's brought
He's
a
a bit
character from the
obscure.
comics, isn't he, into it? The stupid Beep
Yeah,
thing.
Beep the Meep.
Yeah.
What?
So,
Did you say beat the meat or
who
beat
cares?
That's what I
He
heard.
woke up then,
Meep.
folks.
Beep the meep.
Meep
I
the
will
Beep.
say, as a vegan, I wasn't interested in that comment, but woke up straight away.
Lies.
Beat the meat.
And that's why you have vegan AIDS.
Shut up, you.
He's made to look like a cutesy little alien, but he is in fact an intergalactic psychopath.
Yes, he
Savage
is.
Killer. Yeah.
Apparently.
I was going to say we're going to get 3 episodes of Joy, but now I'm not so sure.
Well, I think the audience. I think they'll get decent ratings, but I don't think this is going to be enough to save Doctor Who. What they're going to try and do is to basically give them a false impression of where Doctor Who show is going with David Tennant, and then once David Tennant's out the way, and they think they've got the audience, Shooty will come along, and it'll be all the agenda
Completely
starting
fuck it
all
up.
over again.
They'll get 7 or 8 million, I think, and then it will jump off a cliff after.
Well,
after
as I said, here,
starts.
just like Z, here's hoping that doesn't happen, and I think it's absolutely brilliant, you know, and I'm hoping that's what's going to happen.
I mean, I hope you
Is
guys are
Tennant
right,
even
but
that big a draw? Sorry, Ronnie, after you.
no, it's okay. I'm hoping you guys are right, but I think they're just using David Tennant as a way to suck in the fans that, you know, didn't care for
Well-
Jodie back in, and then be like, haha, just kidding. Here's how the Doctor is going. This is the direction we're going with it, and RTD
What kind of
is showing his
message?
true
What-
colors.
What
I
kind
don't
of
know,
message
like-
does this show? I mean, it's like you have a woman doctor. It falls through the floor. They bring
Yeah.
back Tennant, the straight white male, to bring people back before the black doctor comes in. It's
Yeah,
just like,
exactly. You know,
what
it's
are you
just
trying
like,
to say.
you know, trying to win the fans back and then being, just kidding. We're going back to what we were trying to do with the Jodie era, you know, and I'm not buying it. And I hope that I'm wrong. I really do. But I do not think I will be watching any of this, to be honest.
I'll watch the David Tennant, and I'll also watch
Sorry.
the first season of Shooty. And if the first season of Shooty is terrible, I'm done with Doctor Who. I'm afraid I can't.
Is Dan
Probably
looking
watch
forward
it.
to it?
Dan is, but Dan,
God bless him.
Dan's on the side of Doctor Who. He's hoping for the best, and I don't
He's the
blame him.
eternal optimist, isn't he?
Yeah,
He
I
is.
don't blame him. You know, we're all hoping for the best, but
We all
somehow
want it to be good.
you got Disney, the wokest company in the world. You got BBC, the wokest company in the world. What do you think is going to happen?
I agree.
And on that bombshell, we'll move on.
Dun, 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 Babylon 5.
Yeah, as we said last week, Babylon 5 was announced in cartoon form. This is the first graphic they've released of what it's going to look like. they exist. Well, sorry, the surviving. This is how bad it is. The surviving cast have been cast as voice actors.
Good.
So you got Bruce Boxleitner, Claudia Christian, Peter Jurassic, Bill Mummy, Tracy Scoggins, Patricia Tallman will reprise their roles.
Is it computer generated cartoon or is it just like cartoon?
Don't know.
Oh, okay.
How dare you not know?
Yeah.
I
Get in the
guess
bin.
it's computer generated rather than.
Okay,
drawn.
right.
Yeah,
See
it might
everybody.
be,
I'm
yeah.
in the bin again. I'm getting sin binned.
You might be right, Ben. It probably is computer generated. We'll see.
Which is kind of miserable. Like, there was one of the really nice things about doing this Peter Pan video was going back and watching the 1953 film, which is like all the hand-drawn animation. And I suddenly realized how long it's been since I watched a film that was all just hand-drawn animation as opposed to at least partially computer-generated. You can do great things with computer-generated animation, obviously, but it's so common and universal. South Park did a special episode, that Wacky Races spin-off one, on the day that for the first time in, was it 60 years or something, there were no Hanna-Barbera cartoons anywhere on US broadcast TV. And it's sort of just going away. And I've seen little bits and like snippets in random places of modern kids' TV cartoons, or cartoons used advisedly. And they are all CG, and they all look just kind of soulless and uncanny and bland and the same. And there's none of the character and talent that goes into the old traditional animation. So it would be lovely to see it, an actually properly hand-drawn one, but I don't think we will.
Z,
Well, the last was it the well, no, that wasn't the last one. But I think you're right. I mean, there haven't been really any hand drawn animation in a long time. I mean, what's that one on Netflix? Arcane.
Yeah.
That wasn't drawn, was it? That wasn't hand
No,
drawn. That
it's
was all computer, wasn't it?
enhanced.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very impressive, and that sort of is
Beautiful.
redeemed by the fact that it also has a really good story, so it's not bland in that respect, and the art style is distinctive as well. Which is so that's evidence that you can do really good things with the aid of computers. It's just that. Yeah, it does seem like a lost or dying art. You can sort of blame Pixar's early success for that because it showed how this technology is scalable and it's also incredibly effective. But that was back in the days when it was new and innovative and people had bold new visions for what to do with it. Whereas we're now in this stage where no one really cares enough to do the hand-drawn stuff anymore, and no one really cares enough to do new things with the CG. It's all just much of a sameness.
Yeah, so that's one of the things I appreciate about Arcane. Although it was CG animated, each frame was finished by hand.
Yeah, you're right.
So
That's
it
interesting.
had a very, very unique look to it, which is, I think, speaks volumes. Very much like the Into the Spider-Verse also had hand-finished effects on it. So you can utilize the two and create something which is new and exciting as opposed to purely relying on CG on its own.
It's the same people who did Into the Spider-Verse, wasn't it?
I know it wasn't. I didn't like the animation in Into the Spider-Verse. It made me feel sick. It really did. I was watching because I went to a special screening of it before it got released, and it was in 3D. And I was sitting there going, I was like, oh god, this is just
you was doing
ridiculous.
what?
I was about to be sick.
There's a couple of nominations in chat for the hand-drawn stuff. I think Ghost in the Shell was nominated, and Evangelion as well. That's true, and both are really good. But I think it's telling that you have to go to Japan or Asian cinema to find
South
sort
Korea,
of hand-drawn animation still being really prioritized. And even some of the most recent Gundam series are primarily hand-drawn, but they are using sort of computer enhancements in certain scenes. But the fact is, the care and attention is still there because it's an art form in its own right. Whereas I don't think we sort of forgotten that hand-drawn animation is, I think, its own art form that's really should stand alone. Now everything is just, well, what's the quickest, cheapest, and easiest way to do this for an audience of unthinking people?
I kind of get the feeling that's why this is being produced as a cartoon instead of TV. But Melvin Deeply, my old man, thought B5 was better than Star Trek, and he liked Star Trek, and I totally agree.
Wasn't Chekhov in this?
It was
Seven
as
Five, it was.
Bester.
I wasn't going to say,
Psychop.
I saw, the Roddenberry Foundation. They actually are doing a live version of the cartoon Star Trek, and I saw a graphic, like a computer graphic 3D of that creature.
Alien. Yeah, the alien. Yeah, it looks fantastic. Yeah.
I was like, what? It looked
And
like just like the cartoon. I was like, wow.
The cartoon was canon as well.
Yeah,
so,
that was
yeah.
amazing. You guys should just go on that website and look at the stuff they're doing. They're trying to bring that to life as well. That's going to be amazing.
You go, besto. Very good. It's a gravy joke. I'm going to stick my neck out here.
Like you did with Flash.
I think.
Hey,
I
calm
think-
down. It's not out yet.
I know.
If J. Michael Straczynski, I can never say that, is basically writing it, producing it, everything. I think this is going to be really good, and it's going to provide us with possibly a backdoor pilot of something better. I think we kind of said that last week.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
I think it's going to be. I think if we can just get over the fact it's a cartoon, I think if you're a true Babylon 5 fan, I think perhaps we all should just embrace it for what it is, as a piece of entertainment, and who knows, we might not be disappointed. In JMS we trust. Shall we move on?
Why not?
We should have had him as the producer of Doctor Who.
Why?
Yeah.
What is this?
Okay, so apparently one person has been cast. Superman Legacy.
It's the guy who plays
James
Superman,
Gunn,
isn't
by
it?
the way. I don't know. Is it?
I saw a picture of, maybe it was just somebody mucking around, but this guy that's kind of young, but he looks a bit like Chris Reeves.
Well,
I
the
thought
quote
it was
underneath is that
just-
it isn't any of the regular players in the Superman world, so it could be an extra for all we know.
Yeah, exactly.
Problem being, have you been cast? Have you not told us?
Yeah, well, I didn't want to brag.
Shut it.
No, actually, I'm playing Wonder Woman because,
Blunder
That's it.
Woman.
Get in the bin.
righto.
My he's gone. My quip for this, before I forget, was where it says James Gunn has cast one person in Superman Legacy. You know who it is, don't you?
Who? His
wife.
wife?
Yeah.
Of course.
Or his
You're not
brother?
wrong.
Could be his
God's
brother.
sake.
I reckon they're going to get his brother to play Jimmy Olsen.
You know what? I wouldn't doubt that, to be
I
honest
wouldn't
with you.
doubt either. Yeah, I think they're going to get
It's
him
so
to play Jimmy Olsen.
shameless. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
It's his wife been cast.
It's not like what's his name? Sam Raimi put his brother in Spider-Man, but he wasn't playing anyone important. He was just playing
See,
is it Hoffman? Kept shouting Hoffman, and he kept turning up. That was his brother, wasn't it?
here you go, folks. Johnny Lawrence's mum. Is it his wife? Yeah, I think
We
she said
just
that
said
before
that.
I said it. Yeah, before
Yeah.
I said it as well. Yeah, so see, me and Barbara, we think alike.
so
Princess
sorry,
Fiona, $2 super chat. Thank you, Princess. You can I'll start again. You can tweet JMS a question and he will respond. Well, he won't because he's blocked me, but there you go. God knows why.
Oh,
I don't
well,
want to
tough
know
luck.
really. I just want to see the film that he's going to produce, and I don't really go out my way to find out this information. I only find this information out when you put it out there, Ian. But on the show like this, but I don't really go out my way. I just want to see a really good Superman film, and I think he's going to mess it up personally. But we'll see. We'll
I
see.
agree. We haven't had a good Superman film since Christopher Reeve.
The thing is, if this Superman film is not, truth, justice, and the American way,
Cheers,
and
Barbara.
colourful and hopeful, then it's not Superman film. You're just going back to what Zach did with Superman. So
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
either go that way or you don't do anything at all. Because if you don't fully go that way, because that's who Superman is,
That's
then
it.
it's going to be a hybrid of rubbish. That's what it's going to be. So.
Okay, so we're thinking that the one person Gunn has cast is Mrs. So that's
Or his
a
brother.
shoo-in.
Or his brother.
Or his brother, yeah.
Wife first.
Yeah. Maybe it's Raccoon Rocket he's cast. Who knows?
Okay. So
this?
David Corus, I just pronounce that Corensvets.
Carbon sweats.
Torn Sweat?
He was my pick from ages ago.
And
Ages.
Nicholas Holt. I think Holt is going to be Lex Luthor. I think.
No, I think Nicholas Hoult will play good Superman. Actually, I think
Oh,
he'll make a
no.
good Superman.
I would
think-
like
I
him better
think-
as Lex.
You go,
No, Lex. He doesn't look like he's too good looking to be Lex.
Really? I've never
Yeah,
found him
he's-
attractive.
You go, Tim. I like saying this. Hannah Bomb. Hard no.
No, for both of them. Tim?
Hard no.
For both of them, or for one?
Yeah, Tim says hard no for both. Yeah,
Both, right?
I think Holt as Lex possibly shave his.
Save his noggin.
Yeah, yeah, I could go with him. He's a decent actor.
He is a
Yeah.
good actor. That's why I think he might make a good Superman.
It was both.
Oh, right, okay.
Uh,
And who's the other fella? I've never seen him in anything before.
Adam Gray. Why pouty men?
I
Good
know.
question.
The
For the
pouts.
ladies. and the guys, probably.
Healthy man.
You go, Tim. I like saying this. Hannah Bomb. Plute, maybe. Plute. Are you?
I am available.
You available?
I am.
Super Lord.
Unfortunately, Superman was his ship landed in England, in Cambridge, and so that's why they cast
Oxford.
Super
That's the
Chord.
point. Yeah, I cannot do American accents. I can just do a really shit Southern one.
Yeah, the Lord's spacecraft landed in Oxbridge.
yeah, okay. And then platoon came out of it.
Clark from Kent.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say.
I mean, I don't think I've ever seen David Corn Sweat in anything. He has the right
Don't know him.
jawline for it, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
The right look.
It's more square, yeah.
Yes.
He's got a lot of hair on his head, hasn't he? Look at that.
Mm.
Look at him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
See, Holt
got
would
big
look
ears.
good with a bald head. He could be Lex. I'm telling you.
Shave it off just to be a
That's right.
He needs to have his ears pinned to play Superman, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I still think Nicholas Hoult would make a good Superman, but you know.
I don't know. I think he's. I don't know. I've never seen him as the kind of the macho role in anything, though.
They're a
He's-
bit twinky.
He's a bit. yeah.
Catalogue
Not,
models.
not opposed to that by any means,
Yeah.
but maybe not the right fit for the role.
Maybe you're right. I don't know.
I tell you, it would be good. Superman.
Cavill.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
I would be okay with that.
Yep.
I would praise the Lord if they cast Cavill as Bond. I'd be
Here you go.
so happy.
Theodore Pinnock. Lex needs to be an old man. What about casting
Bryan Cranston.
Cavill as
No. Bryan
Lex? Shave
Cranston.
his head.
No.
Bryan Cranston would
Are
make
you
a
mad?
good Lex. He would make a really good Lex Luthor.
I'm on Corin Sweat's IMDb at the moment. He looks like a young Henry Cavill.
Okay.
Could definitely
okay.
pull it off.
You're not.
And then you
Easy.
could tie
Easy.
them in together, like the older Superman and the younger Superman. There you are.
That's true. See, that would be fair. I could live with that.
Chat moved up. Sorry.
Terry Crews. Superman, yeah.
Eat a bag of dicks. Nicholas Hoult is the beast.
The Beast.
He
yeah,
is.
yeah.
He's Beast, but he's the
He's
Dr.
Beast in
Jekyll
X-Men.
rather than the Mr. Hyde version of Beast.
Yeah.
So obviously,
Yeah.
you can CG him big and blue, and it makes him much more sort of
Yeah, we're going to get an Otisberg.
You know, I think he's gone, isn't he?
Ned Beatty?
Yes.
I believe so.
Yeah, he's gone. Good character
Okay,
actor.
so okay, it'll be interesting to see. They're teasing us at the moment, I feel, but there you go. Let's move on.
Again, we didn't move on very far, did we?
I was going to say Brown.
Get in the bed.
Good.
That's
Sorry.
right.
Well, who's going to read this out if I go in the bin?
Okay.
Lord, are you
Batman
available
versus
to read this
Superman
out if I go in the
directed.
bin?
I can.
Zack Snyder feels that the general audience didn't understand his DC movie. No shit, because it was rubbish.
I feel like a lot of people went into the movies going for like, oh, it's the superhero rump, right? Let's have fun with it. Well, I mean, lots of people did have fun with the Snyderverse, but not in the way you intended it to happen.
Well,
Yeah.
and you have to understand, like, a lot of the comics were fairly dark, especially Batman. But also, like, when they tried to do camp with it and Whedon did his version of Justice League, nobody liked it, right? They tried too much to be like Marvel. So I appreciate his stance on let's not make this too campy and too Marvel-y and too, everybody's friends and all that stuff. So I think he was on the right, wavelength on that front. He just didn't execute it as properly as he could have.
No, he wasn't. The problem with this film is the script. It always comes down to it was awful. You
can't tell me that like Russell Crowe was the perfect choice for Jor-El, right?
No, we're talking about Batman versus Superman here.
Oh, okay.
So we're talking, so
Justice
Batman
League
versus
as well.
Superman and Justice League. The scripts were terrible. They were awful. I mean, why would you squeeze that fantastic Doomsday story into 15 minutes in the film? Why would you do that? That's a movie in itself. It is ridiculous.
It also has, there is so much typical Snyder in everything that Snyder does that it's almost, he's a meme director at this stage. And it's one thing, and I agree, it would be nice not to have every superhero film ever look like a Marvel film. That's fine.
Yeah.
But not looking like a Marvel film does not mean you have to look like a Zack Snyder film. I think I slightly preferred the Joss Whedon Justice League actually compared to Snyder's. Snyder's was just longer for no justifiable reason. I mean, there's that whole long sequence where you have slow-mo Ezra Miller looking at a hot dog sausage in slow motion while this ridiculous cringy song plays in the background. And this is definitely worth a 3.5 hour runtime. Thank you, Zach. This is my vision for superheroes.
Ian, I think this comment's for you on screen. Do you want to read it?
It was shit. Say Ian. It was shit. Come on, let's face it. It really was. The only good thing about Batman versus Superman was when Batman took on those guys. That was one of the best fights I've seen in a long time in a superhero film. And
what did you say?
The whole thing with Lex Luthor, the way when the guy they cast for Lex Luthor was completely and utterly it was so wrong. The whole film was just wrong.
I will say Jesse Eisenberg was a shit Lex Luthor, he did the best he could with it.
Who remembers that scene?
Who
remembers that scene when Superman crashes Batman's Batmobile, and he stands there, and the scene before he was talking about Batman should be put away, he doesn't even take him to jail. He just says to him something, and then he flies off. And in what world does that make any kind of logic in a script like that? It makes no sense. No, the script is awful.
The director's cut's a bit better, but I understand why it's not very well left.
They just added more to it, and it was just
did, but it kind of seemed to make it flow a little bit better, and it seemed to explain, a little bit better some of the parts of it. It wasn't the best, but it was a better version of that movie.
It was awful. Didn't matter how that they added a bit, and also again, right? No person that plays Superman is separating Superman from Clark Kent. The only actor that did it was Chris Reeves. Every actor that came after Chris Reeves and played Superman didn't separate them both.
Agreed.
Do you bleed?
He literally said that.
Other than that, we enjoyed the Snyderverse, yes.
Terrible film. They were insults.
And any director who believably has to employ an army of bots to drum up pressure on a studio to release his own wankified version of a bad film
worth the wait, though.
I
love the Snyder cut.
Okay.
You're wrong. You're wrong.
And I believe Brown likes it as well.
You're both wrong.
You know what? Ben needs
it's
to
a
give the
longer version of a shit movie.
Yeah, I hated it. I absolutely hated it.
And also, they got a black and white version. What's that all about? Why put the whole thing in black and white?
Because it's Zack Snyder, and that's what he does. He has two tricks. It's slow motion and black and white. And that's
turn down the color on your TV.
Exactly.
4 hours, and I wasn't bored anyway.
Yeah, same here. I agree,
bored.
Brown. I got you.
Bored.
Yeah, nobody cares about you.
Shut up, you. Watch Harry properly.
Shall I just bin everybody so there's nobody on the stream?
That's it. Teach us all a lesson, Brown. Come on.
That's right.
Let's move on.
They say they can't make a DC film. Every DC film kind of tries to copy Marvel, but Richard Donner's Superman didn't try to copy Marvel.
That's
It's
correct.
completely its own world.
Again, I will say Superman and Lois, best DC coming out of DC.
Really.
Fugly Superman,
So,
folks.
yeah,
Fugly
Fugly Superman.
Superman.
You'll agree with that, won't you, Z?
Agree with what? This is a terrible movie. Yeah, absolutely.
Superman and Lois is the best thing to come out of DC in a long time.
It is the best thing to come out of DC in a long time, and I'm tired of pretending that it isn't.
There you go. We'll move on. We'll move on.
Oh, God. We're far again.
Speaking of.
Shazam!
Oh,
Fury of the
dear.
Gods. I like saying that. Shazam.
Mm.
Has,
Shazam!
Shazam.
No!
Shazam has ended its theatrical run with 133 mil.
That's
Is that
shocking.
good though? Because I have no,
Sounds like
no
it tanked.
reference.
No.
Yeah,
No,
that's
it's
not
not.
good at all.
Oh, okay. How much did it cost?
A lot more than
150,
that.
perhaps 150.
Oh.
I was going to say the first one looked a little more expensive than that. Are you sure that's all they spent on the second one?
No
The
idea.
first
Just
one was
pluck that one out.
fun. I thought.
Oh, yeah, I
liked
liked the first
Yeah, I
Shazam.
like
It
the
was
first
good.
one.
Yeah.
Well,
I've
it
never
had
seen this one.
125 million production budget and another 100 million in marketing.
Wow.
So this is
Ooh.
really tanked.
Mm.
Well,
Wow.
what happened with
Shame.
Zachary Levi? How did he age so poorly between
Yeah,
the
exactly.
two movies?
COVID, I think.
Yeah.
COVID.
he definitely with you there, Rennie. He looks so old in the clips I've seen in this film.
I
think we
haven't
all-
seen the film itself, but yeah, I was just really shocked. And I met him like right after he made the first one. He was looking pretty good. So I don't know what happened between there and here. So
I think we all aged beyond our time 2020, if you know what I mean.
Speak for yourself. I look fabulous.
Well, you do look fabulous, darling.
I know. I was going to say, how dare you, sir? No, just
Dare
kidding.
you? How absolutely dare
Oh,
you.
there you are.
I did like him
Bishop
in that
says,
TV show. Sorry, go ahead.
Thank you, Ian. Why does Mr. Brown say Shazam? Like he's
In
a
American voice
from
character.
Shazam.
Shazam.
I don't know, I just like saying it.
Because he's an idiot.
There you go.
A lovable idiot.
Cheers.
That's
all right.
right. But he's our lovable idiot.
It's ours, not yours. We love you.
Has everybody seen the movie then?
I haven't seen this
Not
one.
yet. I've been afraid to
Nope.
watch it because I
According
really
to the
liked the
box
first
office.
one.
Almost no one has actually seen this movie, so
I
there's a
haven't.
good chance that no one here has. I have seen it.
India
And
or Vietnam?
No, I think India for this one. No way was I
Okay.
paying to
I
watch
didn't
this
even
film.
pirate this.
It's out on video now on VOD.
Oh, is it?
I think
What-
it's on HBO Max now. I think.
Wow,
The ironic thing is that it's far from the worst superhero film ever. It's better than, I don't know, Zack Snyder's Justice League, for example. So it has some redeeming
Yeah, I was
features.
there.
It's a nothing burger of a film. It doesn't do anything particularly well. It doesn't do anything terribly. It just exists, and there's no point watching it. That there's an obvious attempt at trying to tie it into something later. That you hear the Wonder Woman war crime music play, and then she appears, but then we don't even know if any of these people are coming back. So what's the point? The rest of the story just it pans out like the most generic of all generic superhero things.
Yeah, you
It's
go
not the
John
worst,
Z
but there's
or
no reason to
John
actually
Z.
see it.
I watched 10 minutes of it and it was not. And I was not impressed. It was like Breakfast Club meets the Little Wascals. Is that
Oh,
good or
but
bad?
like the superheroes are like kids, and then they
Become
I mean,
adults.
kind of is, yeah. So, I mean, the premise was pretty cool, and the first movie was cute. But
They waited too long though to make a sequel. Let's face it. So
You go, Nikki Rellahan. Is Platoon slowly becoming a commie? Next super movie watched in North Korea.
I've
Dear,
been
oh
accused of many things,
But not being a commie, not yet.
not that
anyway.
one.
you just need like a gray outfit and a bowl cut, and you'll be set.
Shazam.
I could do that. I could update my little animated set with the hammer and sickle. Che Guevara t-shirt.
Da, da, da,
And
da,
a poster of
da,
Mao on
da,
the
da,
wall,
da.
obviously.
You could do it in the style of, was it Team America?
Oh my gosh,
Yes.
yes, do it.
Yeah, that'd be good. We should do. We keep threatening to do it. Team America at some point, folks.
Oh, we should definitely do that.
We
You get
have to do
demonetized
it, Brown.
instantly, but you have to do it.
Yeah.
Okay. Perhaps then. Okay. Shall we move on? Yes.
Yes, please.
Are we going to move far? Well, not that far.
really.
Oh no.
So it's not
Okay.
done very well.
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is tracking to earn 59 million in the second domestic weekend, a 50% drop It was 60, apparently, the official figure.
I'm going
That's
from
not good.
memory. I know it's
500.
opening.
It's made 500 now.
Its opening box office, I think, is lower than Thor: Love and Thunder. I don't think the drop is quite as steep. I have a vague recollection that Thor: Love and Thunder dropped by about 63%.
Yeah.
But I might have made that up. I think that's right. But if you've not started as well as Thor: Love and Thunder anyway, and you've got close to the same drop-off point, that's not good for the film. I'm still unsure of the reason why this one is underperformed. I don't think it's a particularly good film. It's the best thing Marvel has done for a while, but that's comparing it to, the absolute nadir of shit that was Phase 4.
Oh, dear, what a word.
I know, full of them, at least sometimes. So
Poor Brown's
full
brain's
of
gonna
something.
explode.
Well, it's full of
also full of
Brain's
shit as well.
frying. It's really good to have him back, isn't
But
it?
it's lovely to be back. But this is why Phase 4 is not a good comparison, because to say something is better than Phase 4 doesn't tell you anything about how good the thing is. It just tells you that it's not the absolute bottom end of garbage. This film isn't as bad as any of that. I don't think it's that good on its own terms. It's probably the worst of the three Guardians films. But I wonder whether that's the sole reason for it not earning more money, or whether this is suffering from general Marvel, if not general superhero fatigue at this point. Because
I think the
I would go
latter.
with the second.
I think it's the
I'm not
latter
interested.
because I actually think that people are getting wise to the agenda in Disney films and Marvel films. And quite frankly, I really enjoyed this film. I thought it was a lot of fun. It's not perfect, but I thought it was a lot of fun. Sorry, go ahead, Ian.
I think people have been hurt.
Yeah, that's what I think as well.
That just popped in my head just then when Ian was speaking. I think people who loved Marvel have been hurt, and
They're just tired of adequate or
no,
mediocre.
it's not even that. They've been hurt, and I think they've taken it personally, and they just don't want to know. I think they've killed their audience.
Yeah. I mean, just imagine how me and Ian felt about the last James Bond film. There are fans of Marvel that feel exactly like that
Exactly
with
the same,
Marvel films. Yeah. So
I don't want to walk out of a cinema with my head down.
Yeah, I haven't watched
Depressed.
anything since Endgame as far as Marvel movies go.
I haven't, apart from the Spider-Man, and that was
I was
fantastic.
definitely not going to see Marvel films after seeing that stupid Wakanda movie. I just thought no, and I thought I'm not going to watch Marvel films ever again. But somebody told me this was good, so I came out to see it, and I thought it was
Melvin. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me
so I think it's the
17 times,
latter
and you can go.
of what Ben said.
Yeah.
I think their audience, their customers have been hurt, and it's like an old girlfriend. You don't want to go back. That's it.
There is an element of the Shazam problem as well, which is that this story isn't going anywhere. So there's no real reason to go and see it unless you are heavily invested in Guardians. And to be fair, the second Guardians film just wasn't that good anyway. So it's not as though
it wasn't.
This particular very separate wing of the MCU has been performing brilliantly. We all know that James Gunn is going. We all know this is probably the last one. We all know that it's not going to link into any subsequent Avengers film. So even people who are invested in the overarching story of the MCU don't really have a reason to need to see this film in the way that people probably thought they did with Thor: Love and Thunder and Multiverse of Madness. So maybe that's an element of it as well. I think it's a shame in that this film is better by some margin than Thor: Love and Thunder and
I think that's
Multiverse.
the shame of it as well. That's the shame.
I still don't think it was very good, but it's better than those, and those probably will outperform it. And but then again, maybe those have outperformed it because they were the earlier signs of mistake, and this is actually just suffering from the fact that they fucked the audience so much.
Yeah, I think that's the core of it. I reckon. I think
what they hurt the audience.
Yeah, anything that's good always kind of
a 6-year gap didn't help.
Pushes through in the end, no matter if it takes years and years and years. I literally think this film is quite enjoyable. So I reckon maybe it'll do well on streaming or something like that. So. We'll
if there's
see.
anyone left on Disney Plus to actually
exactly.
Funny you should say.
Shazam. Is that what you're going to say? Shazam.
It's a genuine shame. They hurt their audience.
And also another thing, it was the first time Rocket said, "I'm was it Rocket Raccoon?" He said that was the first time he actually said it in the whole of the series, which I thought
mean,
was quite cool.
That was far and away. I mean, that part of the film was very good all the way through. That was
Yeah.
by far the strongest part of the film. My problems with the film are everything crammed in around it, which I think was probably 2 films worth of material that James Gunn
Yes.
had ideas for,
Yes.
but didn't think he was ever going to get to do. So he thought, well, fuck it, I'm just going to shove everything into this one. This is the last bit, and that's the thing that drags the film down. I think that everything with Rocket is very well done, manipulative, but well
Did
done.
you?
And also,
did you
why
see it in
didn't
India?
why didn't Rocket kill the main
Spoilers.
guy?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't make any difference because he will probably die anyway. I think he's a better villain than Kang is. I wouldn't
Oh,
mind
God,
seeing
yeah,
him come
definitely.
back. I saw this one in the cinema, Ian, to answer your question as well.
I did.
I did. I saw it at a midday showing. I had to get up for 12 o'clock because I was...
What?
Yeah, because I had a stream earlier that day and then had open bar at 9. I had to see it
That's
before
like me
that.
getting up at 2 a.m.
Yes, basically that. It was me and one other person in the cinema.
Yowza.
And then I thought, well, okay, it's a midday showing in a weekday, so that's obviously understandable. But then I thought, oh, just as an interesting thing, went to look at the booking for the week on my local cinema app because it shows you like all the booked seats and everything.
Yeah.
And none of it was ever particularly well booked. Just not that much, like more interest than other given films, but not as much as you would expect from the heyday of Marvel, and nowhere near as much as Mario, which was fully booked virtually all week.
I don't know how cinemas make any money anymore, but anyway,
Yeah,
shall we
you're
move on?
absolutely right. When I booked for this film, the cinema wasn't even half full, and that was in the evening, so it's 6 o'clock.
The cinemas are
screening.
suffering because they've got nothing decent to show, and we're suffering because there's nothing decent to watch. Let's move on.
Mario. Oh wow, 1.2 billion.
Yeah, this popped on just before it came on. 1.2 billion worldwide.
We can see why though. You know why it's made that money
Because it's got lots of rainbow colours.
Absolutely, but also, kids haven't got anything. They haven't had anything in a long time
to watch.
And so yeah, so obviously,
well, they had Lightyear.
Yeah,
and
right.
Strange New Worlds.
Right.
Yeah. So this is obviously, got the kids coming, and also people that are big fans of the game as well.
Yeah, it hit the perfect middle ground for an audience. It was perfect for children.
Yep.
It has a huge amount of cultural fondness and memory attached to it. So parents were going to take their kids to see it, even if their kids had never played a Mario movie.
Exactly.
Because they remembered playing it. This is another one of those things. I don't think the film deserves this success, but I can understand why it's got it. The problem will be, what lessons do you learn from it? And I suspect the lesson learned will be that you don't have to try hard to do anything with story or character or plot or world building or anything that we might call narrative. All you need to do is put recognizable things on screen in a colorful way and bash them together like playing your toys. I think that would be depressing. But at the same time, it's probably for the best that this film has done so much better than Marvel, because at least there are some things this does that Marvel doesn't. It's largely free of the gender politics stuff, for example, or any politics stuff.
I think, right, I have a theory on that, Ben. I think they didn't think this film was going to do well. So they pushed everything into it, right? So they pushed Donkey Kong, they pushed all the other, everything in there. So because let's face it, right, the only computer game that's done well recently is Sonic the Hedgehog, right? And that's one of the reasons why this got made, because of Sonic the Hedgehog. But they still didn't think it was going to do. So that's why they pushed everything into it. And then when they push everything into it, obviously the actual characterization themselves will suffer because they're shoving so much in there.
Yes,
and they found a balance, and then that's what they went with. But I reckon in the next one is going to be better than this one.
I hope so.
Because the person that actually owns the rights, owns the IP, he cares about this product. Hence why he told them to take all the shit out of it. Because the original script had all the the agenda stuff in there.
Yes.
And he was really pissed, and he told them to take it out. So I reckon the second one's going to be better. I reckon. That's my guess.
Is the guy in charge. It'll be interesting to see though whether, because obviously Nintendo has a host of what you might call top directors, and Miyamoto being one of them. I think different people are in charge of, say, Zelda or Donkey Kong.
Yes.
And if they do expand into other Nintendo games, it's what
Star
approach
Fox.
they will take to those. Star Fox would be great. I mean, the shame that we haven't had a Star Fox game for
I think they'll do
years.
Legends of Zelda next.
Zelda,
they're doing
that's
the
the
TV
one that I
series.
would love that to be. I would love to see that, but at the same time, I'm really fearful for it because the fact that I
TV
love to
series,
see
right?
it means that it will be terrible. And
Yeah.
that's always the way these things go. You will have to do more with a Zelda film than you could with this one. Though you will actually have to tell a story with that. You can't just meme your way through Zelda. because then you've missed this brilliant opportunity to create a new fantasy for the screen, well, for a different type of screen. There is a huge amount of potential, but that's the worrying thing, which is that will they take that, or will they play the safe route?
Z, are you available to read a chat, please?
Yes, of course. Z3P in the chat says 1.2 That's an EFAP reference, by the way.
Good old slow mold.
That made me chuckle, that did. Okay. Shall we? Yeah, it's still out. It's still out at the theatres, isn't it? And it's probably going to maybe do 2-3 more million.
Yeah.
100. Yeah.
As I said, if you leave your brain in the foyer, you'll enjoy this film, and that's what I did because I had my nieces with me, and plus we went to see it in 4D, so the chairs were shaking up and down and stuff like that. They loved it. They loved it. They were giggling all the way through it. They loved when the chairs moved up and down, and there were kids surrounding me, and they all were laughing at every joke, and we're all gasping and stuff like that. So it's for the kids, isn't it? It's just
So here you go. Finn, is it Jeremias, Star Fox, F-Zero, Metroid, Punch Out, Donkey Kong, etc., 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 etc.
Tetris.
Tetris.
Which is
What's that film?
That's a very good film. Tetris.
I've got to
is
see that
fantastic.
because Ben recommended it and also Lee recommended it. So I've
It's
got to
one of my favourite films of the year.
Well, if those two have recommended it, it'll be
Exactly.
shite.
Shut up.
Let's move on.
Get you know where.
In the bin.
Ooh, B-I-N or B-E-N?
Speaking of,
I am not currently open for business.
I am.
Oh wow, that's crazy, right? They lost 4 million subscribers
Globally.
Oh, yes.
Globally.
Yeah.
So the qualifier is that they are still suffering partly from the loss of the Indian cricket rights, but that was the excuse given when they lost the 1 million subscribers in, I think, Q3 or Q4 last year. And I don't know how much of an influence that still has. You can also
because
overplay
everything
that.
they produce is shit.
Well, yeah, that's the reason, right? So
Really?
let's say that someone in India has subscribed just to see the cricket, and Disney has stopped showing the cricket. That means that Disney is not producing anything else that has kept the people on the platform.
Yeah.
So the reason streaming services kind of work by hooking you in with noticeable IPs. This is what Paramount Plus did with Star Trek, and they bank on the fact that even if the show you subscribe for isn't necessarily very good, you will find something else there to keep you there. If Disney is losing 4 or 5 million subscribers solely for losing cricket, that's because it's offering nothing else to 5 million people who subscribed, and that's a much broader problem with the platform than simply losing your rights to the IPL.
Precisely.
I couldn't have said it better myself because I
Neither
couldn't say it
could
better
I.
myself.
Brown's having another brain explosion.
Oh,
He's
is he?
like, I need an interpreter.
no, I'm just pouring the liquid out of my left ear. Never mind.
Lovely.
Gosh.
Oh,
I made
you know
that.
what? Disney's
I
going
wish
to
I
be
could.
brought. Is going to be brought by Amazon,
Apple.
I reckon, or Apple.
It's Apple.
yeah.
I reckon, because they're just going to grind it into the ground because of their stupid politics.
Lord, are you available to read a very complimentary chat?
I suppose so. From Fear the Hammers, Little Platoon is the best. Well, I can't disagrey, but I can't
I can.
agree because that would
Is
be
best.
Ian will.
insufferably arrogant. So, thank you.
Yes.
I can't wait till Platoon plays Superman.
That's right.
I'm waiting for that.
It doesn't give me any pleasure seeing Disney going down the
Oh, it gives me
tubes.
pleasure. Absolutely. Pleasure.
Really?
Yeah. They've been a horrible company for many years. It's not the same
recently.
Disney. It's not the same
Isn't
company.
it? Okay.
Not
Well,
remote.
Okay.
They're going to
Okay, I'll
suffer
take it
even
back
more
then.
because of the
take
writers'
it back then.
strike, aren't they? So then now they can't
Oh,
make
yeah.
anything, so they're going to be suffering even more. So everyone.
Well,
is
what
suffering
year
over
did it
there.
start going wrong for Disney? Because as I said, 2009, Enchanted loved it.
Mm.
Amy
Well,
Adams, right?
Same as everything else around 2015, 2016. Maybe before the seeds were sown, but it's a slow march through not just the institutions but through the corporations too.
But everybody's scared, aren't they, of losing their job because they're not with the agenda and stuff like that. There's genuine, I'm not
Fear.
even kidding here. There's general fear over there, you know, of
Yeah,
people.
McCarthy didn't go deep enough.
Yeah. As I said, you know, it's not a good time for straight actors these days. It really isn't. So,
Or actors.
yeah, I guess. I don't know.
Activists, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. But, just, one thing to remember is, unfortunately, they did actually have some good entertainment, and the classics are still good,
Yes.
Yeah,
like
they
the
are.
original Little Mermaid and the original Beauty and the Beast and Cinderella and things of that fashion. So, I can't allow their stupidity with like Star Wars to cloud my judgment of, their former programming,
Oh yeah.
because I still like those things. But yes, at the same time, it's like, well, I can understand why people don't want to pay, because if you've already seen all that, you've had your fill. What new item is there to gain your attention, right?
Here you go, folks. Karanatos. Hello, Karanatos. Enchanted 2 is an excellent microcosm of the Disney decline.
Yeah.
Genitalia, Disney is where franchises go to die.
It's true.
R.I.P.
I like that
Doctor
name.
Who.
I did like Splash. That was a Disney. No, it was at Touchstone. Right? The
I
same
think it was
company, isn't it?
Touchstone, right?
Same
Yeah.
company.
Buena Vista. So
Yeah.
technically it was.
Yeah. And
Technically.
then they went and gone and wrecked Splash, didn't they? They took
Yeah,
all
they
those bits
airbrushed a
out.
butt.
Couldn't believe it. Could not believe it. That's like,
Okay. I think the writing's on the wall for Disney. Let's move on.
Yay,
Judge
happy
Lucas.
birthday, George.
Happy birthday, George.
Can you believe it, folks? He's
How old is he?
He's 89 today. Sorry, 79 today, folks. 89, 79.
He's 79.
George Lucas, everybody.
George
Happy
Lucas.
birthday, George.
I was go as far. He's he's brilliant. Let's face it. The stuff that he's done for art, especially in movies, is unparable. So
Wonderful imagination.
yeah,
Apart
and he
from
never
in the
backed
90s.
down. He did what he wanted.
yeah, he did.
I like that kind of mentality, because
Apart from the special editions where you can just go fuck yourself, George.
Happy birthday, George.
Z, you're on the bottom left.
I am.
it was his
Shiny and
creation, and
lovely.
he stood by it, and I have to give him credit, because even with the special editions, everything that man did with his,
And then he sold
with
it to
his
Disney.
Star Wars saga before they took it over, is so much better than anything that Disney has ever done in 5 minutes with it.
But also, Disney relies on the innovations that the companies he founded
That's right.
made. I mean, if you look at the huge list of cinema mainstays, from visual effects in Industrial Light and Magic and to sound design in THX Skywalker sound, there are very few films these days which don't use one of the companies that Lucas founded and the technology he pioneered. And sometimes his commitment to digital innovation in particular came at the expense of the story that he was trying to tell. I think that was one of the problems with the prequel trilogy. But the fact is that wasn't a lack of imagination that did for those films. That was simply that he was pushing boundaries without proper regard to balance, and which is ironic given that the whole point of the Force is balance. But he still added something immense to cinema by doing that. For all the faults you can find in the sort of the later Lucas Star Wars stuff, he's a really brilliant visionary, a fantastic businessman as well. But the most important part he's ever played for humanity is creating this universe, as is mentioned in the tweet, which has inspired billions of people over decades and continues to be this cultural icon.
Yep. Filmmakers, visual effects artists. He's responsible for breaking ground when it comes to actually filmmaking as an art form. So I take my hat off to George Lucas. No matter he's given us some rubbish like Howard the Duck and the Star Wars prequels, but you cannot fault him as a businessman.
Do you know how much he's worth?
Fault him. I'm assuming a lot.
I was going to say a hell of a lot.
Yeah.
I had a quick look before I came on. If my brain remembers it correctly, $499 billion.
Well, he can save the world with that money,
so
can't
500 billion.
he? He can save the world.
He could cure world poverty with just a billion of that, even though that we spend $7 trillion on that and nothing happens.
500 billion.
Testament to the guy that nobody actually cares about his net worth
Just
too
give
much.
us $1 billion each. Just give us all $1 billion each. Thank you.
I tell you, the thing that
Sorted.
I admire about George Lucas the most, it's not Star Wars, it's not the special effects company that he made. I admire his tenacity to actually to tell Hollywood to fuck off. Sorry, I
Yeah.
swore.
Yeah.
And basically every film that he's made is an independent film,
Yeah.
and he didn't rely on any of these studios to give
Yeah.
him money.
And
And that's
KK's
why I
fucked it all.
admire. That's why I admire him so much. You know,
I
he's
agree
one
with
of the
you
very first
completely.
people, to say it to Hollywood, get lost.
He's comically modest as well. If you ever listen to him in an interview, he plays down everything he's ever done. Like some of the quotes that you'll find that say Patrick Williams' quote about Star Wars being a movie about space wizards invented for children is, I think it's partially lifted from something Lucas did in fact say. He described Star Wars variously as a family soap opera. He describes Yoda as this little frog guy, for example. But people sort of miss that point about his general demeanor. This is a very unprepossessing man. He's incredibly modest about his own achievements, almost to the point of ludicrously playing down what they are. And that I think endears him to a lot more people. It's one of the reasons people don't go after him for his net worth, because he's very quiet, he's very meek, and he doesn't brag about things and everything he's accomplished. You know, this is a guy who has all the reason to brag and to boast about his accomplishments, but he doesn't. He's quiet and he's self-effacing, and it's kind of endearing when you watch him.
Agreed.
Yeah, and he's got a
should we do
beard.
super chats?
There you go.
You go, Romeo Tango November Zulu for $550 NZ dollars. Hail Brown and Co. at work on a break. Really looking forward to Return of the Jedi stream part 3.
Yeah.
That's on Wednesday. My favourite Star Wars film to rewatch, and rest in peace, Calculon, indeed.
Rip Calculon.
Rip Calculon.
Ripping the new
But
one.
George is a very very shy man. Even when he was getting attacked by the studio when he first made Star Wars, but he was also getting attacked by all the actors, which is not a known thing. But they basically took the piss out of him big time, so much so that he was scared to direct them. So he suffered all that, and he was going through a divorce. I think
And he made them
towards
all
the end of
stars.
Star
What a
Wars,
set of bastards.
he almost died. You know. So that's the thing, and he survived all that, and now look at him. Nobody can tell him anything now.
That's
There you
right.
go. Yeah.
Happy birthday, George. Let's move on.
Where's my cake, George?
Okay, so from
Round
the
head.
sublime to the ridiculous,
Fly now?
Yuck.
Sure, Kathy.
Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy explains why Rian Johnson's Star Wars trilogy is taking so long. He just keeps getting more and more successful, and it keeps moving things further and further.
That's rubbish.
One day
LOLs.
we'll figure this out.
Yeah, sack him now. That's the solution. It will never not
Man
baffle me.
babies.
We're talking about Star Wars, which until very recently was I think the most successful cinematic franchise of all time.
Yeah.
And we've now got to the point where Rian Johnson is delaying Star Wars films because he's working on Knives Out. Now, you have fucked up as a company
Soapbox,
if your franchise has diminished in importance to that degree. Either that, or you are working with a guy who doesn't care, in which case you should sack him. But don't make these excuses. This is not an excuse. This is a reason to sack the guy, and probably to sack yourself as well, Kathleen. But
Get in the bargain bin.
The reason why she's saying this is to save face, because she knows that the actual Star Wars films themselves is not good.
How
So
is
she's
this
obviously
saving
saying,
face,
"Oh
though,
yes,
Ian?
you know."
This just looks like she's trolling us now.
Exactly.
See,
She
that's
is.
what I think. It's like, you know what? We're not going to say that we've cut ties with him, because that would make all the people that we know we pissed off happy. So we don't want to do that. We're just going to say they're still coming and then just never release them
Yeah, exactly.
to keep them on the edge of their seats.
Well,
here you
no
go,
one's on the edge
folks.
of their seats, put it
Tim,
that way.
You know what I mean?
I like saying this, Hannah Bomb. Been ruined for 300 seconds. Well, 300 years more like.
these would be good.
Make sure, yeah.
I mean, Jesus will come back before we see these films, I'm pretty sure.
Lord has spoken.
It is. He did a terrible job on that film, and he should be ashamed of himself.
Cultural vandalism.
Kathleen Kennedy and him should be ashamed of themselves for destroying something that was beloved by millions, maybe even billions
Poor
around the
John
world.
in the middle there. Poor John. Looks so promising.
Yeah,
for
I
John.
know.
we were all on board, weren't we, for it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing is, he still believes he's made one of the most epic films in the history of the franchise. I don't understand how he can be so disconnected.
I think
Well,
he's
you
a
could just be
Hollywood
that
maniac.
narcissistic, though.
Yeah,
You
it's
know
an
what I
ego
mean?
thing.
Yeah.
So he's right in the sense that, well, we're all still talking about The Last Jedi. He has left his mark on this universe.
Yes.
And if your sole concern is that people are talking about you and that you're noticed and remembered, then he's accomplished what he set out to do. The fact that it's bad is of no consequence. He's
Always
left his mark
goes
on
back.
a timeless franchise. So
Always goes back to Last Jedi.
yeah,
only-
props to him for that.
The only thing that's saying is that those films are good is the media.
Mm.
Real fans are saying it's absolute bollocks. So there you
Yep.
go.
You go in, Time Profits, at Mr. Brown Alliance, that is me. Do you think, I think this is you, Ian, the Mega Geek will jump at a Star Wars movie?
If they pay me enough, I will do anything.
The
No, I'm
Oscar Isaac
joking.
act,
Yeah,
it was
exactly.
Anything, huh?
Yeah, if they pay me enough, I'll be like, yeah, okay. So yeah, I don't know.
There's been like one semi-good thing to have come out of recent Star Wars. I just finished Jedi Survivor
there was actually.
yesterday, 2 days ago. And I think both that and Fallen Order, they are deeply flawed. And I was going through thinking, yeah, okay, that decision is a bit dumb. The writing here isn't as good as it should be. You've presented this profound moral choice to my character, but not given me the choice to make it, and he's chosen the wrong thing. There's all of these gripes you have with it, but at its core, it is probably the most Star Wars feely thing there is around at the moment. It has completely excised the boring sort of gender politics stuff from it. The overarching theme is rediscovery of family. One of the main villains is a play on sort of the fatherhood value set, and it's quite old-fashioned in that respect. And for all the faults in writing, it still feels much more like Star Wars than anything Disney itself is putting out.
Well, clearly she doesn't. Kathleen Kennedy doesn't play computer games.
No, she doesn't. And to be fair, there aren't that many sequel references, and the second one in particular is just chock full of references to everything. There's references to Rogue One, there's references to every one of the original films. They've got all of the prequel references in it. It's reference heavy. I think the only sequel trilogy reference I could spot is that weird glompy alien thing from the end of the Rise of Skywalker, and like he's there for a bit, and that's it. There's nothing else, which probably helps the game in my estimations as well. But at least it's the only expanded universe thing that this Star Wars has really produced, which is again kind of remarkable if you consider, in the 16 years between Return of the Jedi and The Phantom Menace, you had an entire franchise kept alive on the back of expanded universe entries like this. And we've got very, very little to speak of these days. But the Fallen Order games, or the Jedi games as they're now called, probably are among the best of it. I'd recommend them without saying that they are perfect. They are deeply flawed, but they are enjoyable, and they at least have their heart in the right place.
Should we move on?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh God, didn't move very
Speaking
far, did
of
we?
deeply flawed,
Gross.
Please move on.
Yeah, I was
This
going to
is
say.
just what we need from a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, is to
Oh,
reflect what's going on right now.
It couldn't get further away if I wanted
Yes.
it to. I mean, it's just
utter dog shit.
trash. It's the Mean Girls have taken over Star Wars. Really,
Yeah.
that's exactly what this is. It's just a fashion product now.
Thank God.
It's all lip
for the
gloss
writer's strike.
and like oh my God,
Poisoned
feminism.
lip gloss.
Get away.
Can I just quickly correct Take My Wi-Fi Please in the chat, who says that the Jedi Survivor game has a woman of color beating Darth Vader. You might have missed this, my friend, but Darth Vader kills her. So that's a strange kind of victory. But you do you. The Leslie Headland thing, I mean, I don't understand how this is even still in production. Of all the things that should have been cancelled, you would think this is high up on that list. Or
Well,
indeed
I
how
heard
Leslie
that it
Headland
was
herself is
nothing-
still in employment, given her checkered history.
I heard it was nothing more than show reels at the moment, and obviously they're on strike now. So we
they're-
might not
all of
even
them are-
see it.
which is a blessing in disguise.
No,
Yeah.
I thought I read somewhere that one of the series unaffected by the strike was The Acolyte.
No, it's not, because all the writers, they're all part of the writers' union, so they can't do anything unless they resolve this writers' strike.
And there's a court case going on with us.
Yeah,
as well.
exactly. So it's my friends in Hollywood have told me that everything's at a standstill. Nothing is getting made. Nothing. So
If
and plus
AI takes over, it might be better.
well, that's what
ironically.
they're trying to stop. That's the reason, one of the reasons for the strike. But also, companies like, for instance, that are co-producing in England movies over here have been stopped as well.
I
So
think
it's kind
yes,
of
some of them
affecting
have,
it as
but there
well.
are some that are
And/or
not
stopped.
because so there is advice to UK writers working on American-led productions not to take on new work with companies which are subject to the strike. But there are, for example, the Acolyte, and I think Rings of Power Season 2 is also one of these, which are at the moment primarily based in the United Kingdom and are not primarily written by unionized writers, and so production on these has not been affected much, if at
The
all, by
showrunners
the
are not on
strike.
board, apparently.
Yeah, there are some that are still going, but majority of them are at a standstill. Because I don't know about the British, the Writers Guild of Great Britain. I don't know where they stand with this at all.
Here you go, folks. MG84, Leslie. Very good.
Yeah.
Leslie Headland looks like she's been screwed over by men, and now she's taking it out on
Well,
the
Star
world.
Wars is very like
Oh, Lord.
patriarchal.
It's a like patriarchal because you've got to put the like in there. with the
Like
lip gloss.
patriarchal.
Lip
You know
gloss.
what, right? A couple of weeks ago, actually, no, last week, I was talking to a friend of mine, and he said he was at some kind of do, and all these Hollywood types were there, and he could not believe they were talking about this agenda like it's
Oh, Jesus.
it's it's life and death,
Life itself. yeah.
life itself. And he said
Pathetic,
he said to me, he cannot stress how
Sickening.
horrible this is for everyone, how everybody's scared. He goes, it's beyond people being scared now.
All coming out of
It's
California.
terrible, isn't it? Imagine being in
Yeah.
that situation
All
where you
coming
can't
out of
say
California.
anything.
Okay.
Wow.
Shall we move on?
Yes,
We're wrong.
please.
Yes.
More Star Wars.
There's a new shill Star Wars Twitter person
I saw
on the
this.
block. Star Councils, who is a he, him. When
Which
Vader,
makes him a day then.
I highly
Right.
doubt that, but
when
yes.
Vader threw the Emperor into the Death Star shaft, he knew about the existence of Palps clones and knew that the Emperor would simply be reborn.
Oh, shut up!
Absolute bollocks.
Shut
That's
the
so
fuck
stupid.
up.
Get in the
The bin.
That's right.
But also, it wouldn't matter. So let's say hypothetically Vader did know. What was Vader's real motive in that
Save
moment?
his
He
son.
wasn't really giving a shit about Palpatine. He was saving
his
his son.
son.
That's what he was doing. So you can accept that for the sake of argument. It doesn't change the impact of the scene. Okay, fine, Vader knows that there were clones around, but that's not why he was killing... He wasn't killing Palpatine to kill Palpatine. He was killing Palpatine to save his son. That's
And
the
also,
important part of that scene.
Yeah.
Where's the evidence? How did he come to this conclusion? Where in Return of the
Fanfic.
Jedi did it actually say that he knew there were existence of clones?
They identified it
no.
to be true.
All
My only guess would be
headcanon.
that there is something somewhere in the expanded universe where Vader becomes aware that Palpatine has this clone
Yes.
contingency plan.
Yeah, but it's
I'm
completely different than
They're
how they
just
played it out
apologists.
in the
They're-
sequels.
See,
They're just
Joe Darkness,
apologists for this rubbish Disney era.
soy-based life forms. Yes.
It's all rubbish. If he's a he, him, then that means he's a they, right?
They're just watching. Are they watching something totally
Is he a
different to what
day?
we're watching?
Is he a
Yes.
a they?
No, I think they're just trying to make an excuse for the sequel
them?
trilogy bullshit.
An if? A she? A him?
Yeah.
What?
Whatever it is.
Zer.
Is he?
Probably you identify as you what, don't you?
I do, yes.
I think that's brilliantly.
Respect my pronouns.
Yeah.
You what?
What?
It's crazy
got-
the amount of sequel trilogy justification I'm seeing on Twitter at the moment. There's so much of it of them trying
Is
to
it?
Yeah.
convince people that it's actually good. There's no way in hell you're going to convince somebody who doesn't like it already that the sequel trilogy is anything other than garbage.
Yeah,
But that's what they do with
Exactly.
everything. They do that
it's
with
the main
absolutely
production as well. It's the main cultural production from the sequel trilogy has been apologia for the sequel trilogy. It's not been anything actually building off of that story or stories around it or things filling in the gaps. It's been people saying, no, honestly, it was good. You just don't understand it. That's not how Star Wars used to survive.
I wonder what
you know,
the
back-
replies were for
Back
this.
when the films were actually good, people went away and told new stories with them. They didn't spend all their time saying, this is really good and anyone who doesn't agree with me is a shit. No.
No, then you get 100 different people popping up going, oh, this is how the Holder maneuver actually works.
Oh yeah.
Nobody gives a shit, mate.
Bombs can fall
softly-
in space. What are you talking about?
Softly Cut Marble says, someone born in 2005 thinks they know what a character written 40 years ago was thinking.
Yep. Bang on the money.
What
M.
does
Duke.
I don't even know who Hitler was. I mean, come on.
What does Star
Mr.
Destroyers
Hilter.
drive on? Is it
Hilter.
like petrol or something? Or what did they say in that film again? What does Star Destroyers? Did they have petrol or
They have
or
hyperfuel.
hyperfuel? That's it. Sorry.
Well, it's better than internet gas.
Marginally.
Yes.
What a load of
marginally.
rubbish. Hyperfuel. What a load
Okay.
of bollocks.
You can tell the Lord's back because we're overrunning.
It's not because It's not because of him. It's because
No.
everyone. We're all
Shall we move
speaking our
on?
mind.
Moving on.
I kind of get the feeling that Star Councils is a star in the making for all the wrong reasons.
Just another Disnoid shill.
There just
A
seems to be a lot
star,
of
star.
We can
Fluency.
We can put him down for Bag of Dicks Awards.
Yeah.
there just seems to be a lot of shills happening at the moment for some reason.
Like
Mm.
normal. Yeah.
Typical.
Yep.
Typical.
Stands.
Elon Musk.
Okay,
Perfume again.
so big news this week. And probably the first proper bit of Lord Chort's news round. Elon Musk, I am excited to welcome Linda Yaccarino. Is it Yaccarino?
If it's Italian, I think it would be Yaccarino.
Yaccarino?
Or Yaccarino.
Yaccarino. Yeah, as the new,
Yaccarino.
Who is she?
yes, Zelda.
She's just been
Um,
appointed the new CEO of Twitter. So she came, I think, from, was she at CBS News or somewhere like that beforehand?
NBC,
NBC.
TV for the last few years. She put a notice in on the day this was announced.
So is she a they, them, or if, or a but, or whatever it
Well,
is?
she
She's
has,
a
I
mom.
think, been associated
mom.
with the World Economic Foundation Forum, whatever they called it, for
Everybody
a
wear
bit.
a mask, everybody.
Pro-vaccine, pro-mask.
And working at NBC, was it, or CBS, one of those, it is also a fairly good indicator of where your politics happen to lie. To understand why she's been hired, you have to see what she looks like, because Elon Musk is thinking with his dick on this occasion, as so often.
Well, she's 59.
Oh, is she good looking?
She has rather
Let me look
impressive
her up.
tits, I believe.
Let me see if my
What?
dick goes hard.
Is this the woman I'm thinking of, or am I thinking of somebody else?
No, I
No,
think you might
it's
be
somebody
thinking of the
else.
joke tweet.
That was the joke.
So,
Oh, no. Oh, in which case I got it wrong.
Okay,
Fine.
Oh,
so
I don't know. I
what?
don't. Okay, then
Clip
I
that,
retract.
everybody.
I retract anything I said about her being attractive.
Clip
I don't
that,
know what
everybody.
this woman
The
actually
Lord
looks like.
has admitted that he was wrong.
So is this a joke then?
No, this is
No, this is an actual
Genuine,
appointment,
it's
but
the
someone
Lord who
made a
messed it
joke
up.
tweet with a picture of an attractive
That-
woman.
Oh, I
and that's
see.
the
the
association
girl
I
on
made.
Twitter that's been
She was-
DMing everybody that she wants a relationship, they made a joke and said that that was going to be his new CEO of Twitter, and it's not. It was,
She was
a total
incredible.
joke.
Oh,
Yeah,
that shows how much
incredible.
attention I pay to Twitter these days.
Linda. God, I'm just
She's
trying to find
kosher.
out what she really looks like.
But I believe I am right about the WEF stuff and the NBC News stuff.
Yes.
So.
Yes.
Which is worrying.
Let's have a look.
But I mean, does this mean she's just doing whatever anyone tells her to say, or is she not as bad as we think, or is Elon Musk really
Wait.
just controlled
Well,
opposition?
I read some of the stuff today before I came on. I
What?
can't remember any of it, but I thought, oh, okay, she's probably not as bad as everybody thinks.
She
so
is.
possibly potential. Here you go, folks. Franco
Oh.
Walker. The Lord
That's what she
has
looks like.
spoken.
Did you just misgender?
That's
Oh,
what she
no.
looks like. But why did he hire her?
I think, well, the actual reason then, if she's not the woman with the impressive tits, is that Elon Musk doesn't actually give too much of a damn about the way Twitter is operating. He's a vision man. He wants to discover new ways to make it work without really focusing too much on the actual workings of the thing. Combine that with the fact that Twitter has this huge campaign to get advertisers to boycott it, it will become more palatable to your usual sort of industry insiders and people who place ad placements if you've got a respected, known commodity in a position of power and influence.
Yeah.
So she's kind of a fig leaf for his own ambitions, or like a dove of peace offering to advertisers who would otherwise have pulled out of the organization.
Okay.
I got some hot news for everybody. Red Side, 325 Wenders.
And counting. Bigot.
For what?
Don't know.
Nor do I.
So if a woke person dies and goes to heaven, do they come across 325 virgins or
With any luck.
Okay, let's move
all
on, shall we?
genders? A
Stream
bad
killer.
joke. Bad joke.
Stream killer. Okay, so that was the kind of announcement.
Wow.
The last bit is that last segment there about him saying he wants to work with her to transform the platform into X. I think that's another of the reasons. So she's taking over day-to-day operations would be my read. Elon Musk wants Twitter to morph into the app on which you do literally everything he wants. Like he wants it to compete with YouTube.
Carlson.
He wants it to compete with even like bank or wire transfer apps to transfer money. He wants it to basically be the one-stop shop for anything you conduct on the internet. So it competes with Amazon, it competes with YouTube, it competes with Google, it competes with everything. And
movies
in the
as
bid
well?
to figure, well, theoretically, in the future, it's not impossible. And so if he wants to focus on exploring ways to add this new functionality, then having someone on board who will take care of the day-to-day isn't a bad idea. It's just that it's a bit concerning, I guess. Her own background, her own presumed politics might suggest he will be reined in. I think she also recommended a few changes to Twitter previously, which he's on record as having opposed because he didn't like the way they were going.
She told him to tweet less as well, didn't she?
Also, that's not necessarily a bad idea, but
I like it.
Perhaps that's what he needs.
yeah.
A mummy. Are you my mummy?
Yeah. And that was the reply.
Didn't she block Shoe on Head as well?
Yes.
Shoe on head.
Yeah, she was a YouTuber, popular YouTuber, kind of Sandersite leftist, but she's very funny, and she memes a lot. I think did she cotton on to the WEF connection as well? She said hello.
Yes.
Linda, hello, Klaus Schwab.
Hello, Klaus.
Yeah.
That's the one. And then the new CEO of Twitter blocked Shoe on Head with it. That's her first act since being made Twitter CEO. Is you block a YouTuber, which is
good sign.
suggests she might be feeling a little bit under the pressure already if she's taking that much attention of what people are saying about her.
Not thick-skinned.
Twitter wasn't
Evidently
happy,
not to.
was it,
Twitter's never happy.
when it was announced?
No. But then there's you wonder how involved she is in the rest of his project, because, if you have Elon Musk saying, I want to work with Linda to create X, the everything platform, and in her response she says, yeah, let's keep the conversation going and build Twitter 2.0. You're not even really on the same message from day one.
That's so true.
So
Pretty much.
like how involved is she in his thinking, or how much has she been informed about this, and what is the arrangement? Or is Elon Musk really just sort of trying to palm off responsibility for a thing that he might be having buyer's remorse over?
I would really like to get off Twitter because it's doing my head in big time.
Well, you
But
could just not
unfortunately,
click on it.
Yeah.
Well,
Just use it for the DMs.
You
like a
could
lot of
not
people
take
do.
heroin. you know.
unfortunately, Twitter writes this show.
That's also
Hey,
true.
what?
Well, that's
Well,
where you get a
that's
lot
the
of
honest
This
things.
show
End of the
writes
day.
itself,
The
Yeah,
grift
Chat-
comes from
Get
Twitter.
ChatGPT to do that. Just write me an episode of Mr. Brown Alliance.
Should we do that as an experiment then?
Yes, do it.
Okay, next week's show will be brought to you in association with Chat, was it GPT, blah, 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 and Google. Okay.
I do. Anyway,
Here we go. M. Duke. He's hired a scapegoat.
Doesn't
Could
look
be.
like a goat.
Nah. Oh dear. Okay, let's move on.
Move along.
Thank God for that.
And finally,
Dun, dun, dun.
what is it? Who's
Did
this?
anybody see this
Yes.
toe
Yes.
rag?
What did he do?
Oh,
He,
yes.
he
YouTuber.
skydived out of a plane and then crashed the plane.
I thought that was a joke, but
no.
like it like legit happened.
Yeah.
What happened?
Trevor Daniel Jacob, aged 29, facing 20 years in prison after jumping out of a plane. That
Yeah, he found
crashed.
himself jumping out of this little
ultimate
propeller
narcissist.
plane, and
So he could get some more subs
Clicks.
and clicks and stuff.
Oh, so he jumped out of the plane, and the plane crashed. What, did it hurt
Yeah.
someone?
Luckily, no.
I think the risk is
But
that
it
it could
could've.
have done.
Yeah.
Oh. And he got
So
how
the-
many? He got
reckless.
20 years in prison? That's a bit
Yeah.
harsh.
He's
No,
facing 20 years.
Oh,
he's been
facing
found
20 years.
guilty,
Right.
but is it the FIA or FAA or whatever? I don't know. The same people who were
FAA.
always
Federal
on,
Aviation Authority, yeah.
Yeah, same people who were always having to go at Harrison Ford.
Well, he does crash a lot of planes, to be
Well,
fair.
he does.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
but
fair.
here's a by accident.
Yes.
But yeah, he thought he'd make a cool YouTube video and bit him in the ass.
So he did it. He
kind
did
of-
it deliberately then.
Yeah, it's inevitable. I mean, it's just it's slightly less usual on YouTube than on
You go,
other platforms. But if you look
FAA.
at the whole long list of, is it TikTok challenges or Twitch challenges, where people, usually young people who are too like thick to know better, will do the most
Like the
stupid
Tide Pod
shit.
challenge.
Yeah, the type of challenge, or is it the cinnamon challenge was one of the earlier ones, but then you get to the
Yes.
more extreme versions where people
Don't
are
try this
literally
at
doing
home.
things which will kill them
Has
in
anybody
order
ever
to
done
get
the
more
cinnamon
social media
challenge?
clout.
No.
Because I have a brain.
It's horrendous from what I hear. I've had friends that have been smart enough to do it, and I'm
I had a
not
work
going to.
colleague once do it. It was hilarious. It's
It's funny,
it's
but
the
I'm not doing
cinnamon
it.
puff that.
Yeah.
Yeah, cinnamon challenge is amazing, everybody.
But it's just, it's just weird, and it's much worse on TikTok than on almost any other platform because it is predominantly
to be
people
banned
below a
TikTok.
certain age, and it is just I will do anything for attention, which is kind of depressing.
Would you
and
have done something like this to get to 1,000 subs?
Do you think that I do 3-hour breakdowns of Avatar? If my primary goal was getting as many views as quickly as possible, I would not be doing 3-hour videos. So no, and also I consider it a form of natural selection as well. Like I don't think we should intervene to stop these people. It's a way of breeding out the least intelligent people in society, and they should be allowed to kill themselves for clicks.
Eugenics
I,
at 10 minutes
don't
to
disagree.
1.
You know what, Brown? You should do something like this, but on a train or on a boat. I say do it like a speedboat.
Didn't they do a film called Speed on a
Yes.
boat?
I thought it was on a bus.
That's the
The second
first
one was on a.
Oh, okay. I didn't watch the second one.
I
But yeah,
prefer
you
the
could do it
Father
on a,
Ted
like a
one on
little.
a milk float.
There you go.
with Benny Hill
that's a good one.
music.
That would be perfect.
You go,
Yakety
Little Platoon
sax.
would read a book for 1,000 subs.
I'm old-fashioned. I read books for fun, but also
would
I
you
would take it
not?
for 1,000 subs. You know, I wouldn't mind.
Have you read Cosmic Trigger yet?
wonder if they're
No,
gonna
I
make-
have not.
You must.
I wonder if they're going to make an example of him.
Oh, of course.
Probably.
Stream Killer.
Yep. Moving on.
What was he thinking?
Not
He
a
just
lot.
wanted views, and he thought it was a cool idea to like
Yeah,
film himself
crashing a
skydiving.
plane.
But
Well,
Who
you know,
cares?
somebody who's. Listen, maybe if he was 19, yeah, but not 29.
like, if he
Just
wanted
saying.
to do it, he could have hired like a skydiving company and done it that way. But like,
That's his
Well-
plane, is it?
Didn't
Yeah.
Tom Cruise do something similar? But apparently there was somebody left in the plane to
Yeah.
land it.
To land it, yeah.
Yeah, you
I
think
think so.
ahead.
I bet that's where he
maybe.
got the idea from, wasn't it?
Yeah.
probably.
I mean, this is rubbish. It could crash into a building
Yeah.
Yes, and kill
Twice.
lots of people. Yeah.
So where did
I
it
mean,
land then?
in a forest.
I mean, he must have. He
How
must
many
have
animals
worked
it
out
killed.
that this was going to be as distant from civilization as possible. But even so, you never know. There could be someone
What-
walking their dog
What an arsehole.
I mean, maybe
Okay.
he thought it was cool to like get the. Did he?
Be an arsehole.
Yeah, or I didn't see the whole video, but did he get the plane crashing in it? Because maybe he thought that was a cool idea, but like that would just be really stupid. Because if he wound up hitting somebody's house or, whatnot, or accidentally killing a hiker or some crap,
I like the idea it's in the middle of like the Canadian wilderness. There's no
Yeah.
one for hundreds of thousands of miles except for this one guy who happens to be hiking. And he looks up and he sees the plane coming towards him. Oh, for fuck's sake. And then he dies.
just can't catch a break.
I do apologise. I forgot to do a super chats when we were going to do it over the what's his name? Musk story. Zagros for $2. Sorry, my friend. Marxist feminist WEF puppet CEO of Twitter.
Back to its roots.
Yes.
But this picture's not even a good picture, is it?
No,
Let's
it's pretty
face it.
bad.
It's rubbish.
I guess it's a bit hard to get things in frame when you're flying through the air.
that's
1,000
true.
miles per
By the
hour.
way, I had to doctor that tweet. By the way, it's the tweet is a genuine tweet, but I actually got the photograph from a better source and overlaid it, so it is technically the same thing. Fear the Hammers for $2. It's refreshing to hear open and fun conversations.
No. You might not be
Where?
able to tell, but this is entirely scripted. Like,
Yeah.
everything we
Stop.
I was gonna say, where we'll go watch them.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what, guys? I think that's it.
It's a crap picture, though. Let's face it.
Mm.
It really is rubbish.
What?
I mean, he could be lying, or he could be pointing the camera up at him, at the sky, and a plane could be flying above him.
What
Well, I
an
hope it will be
absolute
worth it for
plonker.
20 years.
But he was like skydiving at the time. I don't think you can really focus on aiming your camera super well. Like he was probably on his phone or whatnot.
But
So
I think I had a GoPro.
as you
attached to him.
said, he should have got somebody to jump out with him, and somebody was
Yeah.
driving the plane.
yeah.
Plonker.
Yeah, pretty much.
If he goes to prison, just don't pick up the soap. That's all I'm going to say. Let's move on.
Send that man a soap on a rope.
That's it, folks. We got there. End of week musings, Sunday, May 14, 2023, episode 143. I was in a foul mood before I came on with my glue ear, but I've cheered up now, thanks to you
You got a glue
beautiful
ear?
people. Yeah, my ear's bunged up.
Oh, okay.
Pardon?
It's
He's
got
got
vegan
vegan
AIDS. Vegan AIDS.
Chat, you are wonderful. You have cheered me up no end. You are beautiful, every single one of you. Thank you. I don't know about the guests, but I will thank them.
Well, duty.
Probby, thank you, darling.
You're welcome, my love.
Rennie L, thank you. Are you married, by the way?
Yeah. I don't know who told you, but yes, I am. But
Not
thank
today.
you for
Many times.
thank you for having me on, and it's been a pleasure chatting with all of you guys again. So I genuinely respect and
milk it,
appreciate
son.
all of you.
No,
So.
you don't like Barry. Get out.
Oh, you know
It's
what?
in the
It's
bin.
not my fault that
It
it is
is.
such a stupid premise that is based in reality that there is no reality to it. It is so dumb that you can't suspend disbelief. It's like, oh, this is the real world. No, it's not. You guys suck.
Stream Killer right at the end. He was late to the party, everybody, but it wouldn't be the same without him. The wise elder of the channel, you know the rest. The mega geek himself, Ian David Diaz.
No worries. No worries, guys.
I remember that off by heart. Z3PO.
Well, thank you very much, and thank you, chat, and all the rest of the guests. You're amazing as always.
I'm doing it in screen order, so Brown, thank you. Oh, thank you, Mr. Brown. Thank you.
Narcissist.
Platoon, are you going to see us out, mate?
Thank you.
Brilliant. He's the best.
Fantastic.
Professional folks. Read
the
them and
last.
weep. I think that's it, folks. We're back Wednesday to do the third act of Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Should be good.
Mm.
As I said, we're in EFAP territory with that, but because we're all old men, we do it in 3 parts, not 12-hour streams like these youngsters do. So I think that's it, folks. We will see you probably tomorrow. B-Sup's happening, isn't it, Lord?
Yes, it is. Yeah, I believe so. At 10 our time and 5 p.m. Eastern time. So
Do we know the topics yet, or are you not made them up yet?
no, I haven't had time to look at that shit because I've been stuck with Peter Pan. So I'll get back to you on that one. But yes,
I tried to get on that one actually.
yeah.
But I don't think Blue Boy saw my tweet. But it's okay though, because I would have had a real duel with you about
I think
Guardians
we
of
all
the
should
Galaxy
gate
stuff.
crash it I think we all should gate crash.
Thank God I didn't get
B-Sup
on it.
one evening.
Yeah.
So watch out for that, folks. The Lord and the Mighty Blue Man are on tomorrow, 10 p.m. GMT +1, whatever time that is. I think that's it. See you Wednesday, everybody. If we don't see you Wednesday, we'll see you next weekend. Keep threatening to do a film. We never do, but perhaps I'll get me ass in gear.
You're
So
doing Return of the
twang,
Jedi on Wednesday.
twang.
What are you talking about?
Well, I've
He's
got
talking
a
about
few other
Saturdays.
yeah.
We
Oh.
do one on the Saturdays, but it's hard these days.
I think that's it, folks. If we don't see you Wednesday, have a great week. 2 hours 50. You can tell the Lord is back. Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Tatty bye. In a good way, by the way. In a good way.
Bye.
Take care, everybody.
Cheerio.